the north is your damn Yankee.
And
I see Thomas.
I was so close to Midway Airport, I had to open up the window so they could let the planes through.
Hi, all.
Hello, Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
We'll just a few minutes and see.
Thomas.
Let others come in first, and then we'll get started. So thanks to you all for turning up today. You know, it's a special day for, well, it was a couple of weeks ago anyway for me. And
Congratulations, Thomas.
Well.
Happy anniversary, Tom.
So I'm hoping to get as many of you to speak as possible. So if you can, when I get started, mute your mics and then put your hand up and I'll call people forward. But don't be frightened to speak. We're all friends here. We've all learned along the way with each other. So it's fantastic to see you all. I'll give it a couple of minutes and then we'll get people. I'll do an opening speech and then we'll call some people forward.
Plan, man.
So let's see if we go. Hi, Dave.
How you doing, Tom?
2 weeks.
We were just talking about that too. I was explaining my meme, the consensus of why I made it green and the 44 Magnum, and and then of course the 2 weeks, the best part.
Yeah.
I need to make a new one though. I need to make one with 2 days and 2 hours.
I think Drake's run out of 2 weeks. Thankfully.
That way we don't
well, there's always another 2 weeks, Tommy.
No.
You gotta get it done.
We've had enough of that. Just check and see who's in.
Nice to meet you and really put a face to a voice. It's really a pleasant joy to meet you all. Thank you.
Good.
You too, Rita. I'm so excited to see everyone's smiling faces and put, that energy to all those voices and wonderful words you guys share. So thank you. I'm super psyched to be here. And hey, Thomas.
Bye.
Well, I brought sardines for everybody if you're interested.
Well, it's going to be like sardines in here shortly, so I know.
Blackened sardines, Dave.
No, actually, it was going to be sardines, but it's actually salmon. So that's just as stinky. So it's good for you.
Yes.
We're still waiting on the next 400. Huh?
It's just give it a couple of more minutes and then we'll launch. Nice to see people from so many countries, UK, Ireland, Germany, where are we? Sweden, Holland, Australia, a few more. Hi.
Hi, Thomas.
Canada. Hi, Rod.
Hi.
And hi, Mary.
Nice to see you all.
Canada also. John from Scotland. Hoping that Liam turns up. Where else have we got? Yes, TJ Holland. Cool.
I don't know.
Much love to all.
I mean,
Hi, Mark.
Much love right back.
Great to see everyone. Amelia.
So be one thing. While we're waiting for a couple of more minutes, many of you are involved in the TBC and the state and country groups, which is developing nicely now. I had a call with THI Germany recently, some of which you'll see in the interview, and also a call with Harold Tiers, who's a big fan of our show. And he mentioned about a machine that does some wonderful things that we may be looking into investing in as part of the TBC, and maybe people individually. So we'll be having a discussion and a call on that, and also a show on that coming up soon. Perhaps Willie can add a bit to that. Willie was involved in it from Germany.
Good evening, good afternoon, guys over there. So first of all, I have to say I'm quite confident that seeing all this handsome crowd here, the evil will go soon offward. So Harald, he wanted to join today. He's doing with higher entities. He developed it's not a device that sounds very technical. It's a tower which contains healing water and energies, which is shielding us against the evil in any sense, and especially it can reverse the 5G energy. So he's building these towers in several lengths at 10 inches up to 2 meters 20, and it's a rank from 80 square meters to 100 kilometers diameter. So we talked to Thomas it might be good to have as much as possible of those towers in the THI world, and especially in USA, before the 5G is turned on everywhere, so they cannot grill us and microwave us. So, but it's including a lot of other things which the evil cannot stand this energy, and it's made together with creatures on the 9th dimension. So Harald has connection to those, and he's the one guy who brought a lot of Germans to Thomas, because he talked a lot about Thomas Willems, and so naturally everybody was looking for him, and so we all landed at THI. So this device, he explained to Tommy, and maybe it's possible to send it over, especially to the States. He organized that in Europe already, that a lot of towers will be placed, especially in Geneva, next to UN and World Horror Organization. So we chase away the evil with this tower.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's good to, we'll put it out to the members, and then the members will decide what we should do and go forward with it.
By the way, it looks quite nice. I go and it's a wooden tower. It's very decorative too, so it's not ugly, so you don't have to hide it. So just if that might bother someone.
Where can I find information on this tower, my friend?
Yeah. We're going to release it shortly. Harold and I are going to do a show, and then we'll probably do a Zoom call again to decide the way forward with it.
He has a YouTube channel. That's Harold Tiers. I put it on the chat how to pronounce it. Basically, he has the name of THI. His family name starts with THIERS, and but that's all in German or in Polish. But they are preparing English versions and the interview to introduce it to the English-speaking world. I put it on the chat here, how the name is written, and you find his YouTube channel. And his company is called gbalance.de. And There you see the towers. The tallest is over 2 meters something. Harald is very tall himself, but the tower is taller. And that has an average diameter of over 100 kilometers. So that would be good in New York, in Los Angeles, in all these centers of the hell. So maybe we can enhance good things, good vibrations with this.
Oh, good.
Right. I think we've got enough in. And
Myron just told me that Harald is online.
yes.
Harald, can you speak up?
Yes, I'm here. Hello. Good evening.
Hi, sir. Harald, did I explain it right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We will hire you for explaining the towers.
Very expensive, Harald. I'm too handsome for that job.
Yes. The towers are really amazing. They are connected to the higher dimensions and you get tremendous help. I have also a Telegram group and the group is called Cosmic Tower. There are certain things just in German, but you can see a lot of videos and explanations, pictures, and some experiences. Maybe you have some friends who could speak German. But also there are leaflets from magazines where we published. Some things can be also translated. They are not too long, just one page each advertisement, and it's actually explained everything. They're working like real nature. Everything in nature works with a toroidal field. Any human being, we have chakras, the same any tree. Therefore, a tree gets its water up to 100 meter high in the rainforest or even higher because it comes up due to levitation. The same thing is with the energy of the earth. It's the toroidal field. The earth has chakras and so on. And the same is with the galaxy, with the solar system. Everywhere is the same. And then you can interconnect into these energy fields. And therefore, we are working with this free energy. We don't have any electricity, no cable, nothing at all. And we just work with water because with water, our body is constructed with water. Any plant, whatever is living has water inside. Because with water, you can create hexagonal structures. And according to Professor Gerald Pollack from the United States, hexagonal structure produces electrons, electricity. Therefore, you get your aura, your biophoton radiation, and so on. And the same thing is being done with the towers, and you can get them in different sizes for a small flat. In Europe, something like 700 euro. Then you have bigger one for a house, and for a house with maybe 10, 20 flats, the third size and the fourth size is 1 kilometer in diameter. The next size is maybe 15 to 20 kilometer in diameter. And the next size is 110 kilometer, 1.8 meter tall. But we have a bigger one, 2.5 meter high. And this one, I guess it will create an energy field of 500 to 700 kilometer in diameter. And this way you can heal nature. The towers are sucking in all negative energies, whatever, radiation, 5G, scalar waves, microwaves, whatever is negative, curses, energetic attacks, and whatever. It's all being transmuted into positive energy. Toroidal field is not only a chakra, it's opening to the space, a portal actually. And with a portal you can change dimensions and you can change energy, is the most dangerous energy. And scalar waves are the most stable waves in the universe. They are steady waves. As soon as you create one, it will be arrived at the end of the universe. And this is the most important one, that you can handle this kind of energy, then you can delete whatever. And we built already with my son 10 years ago or 15 years ago, these devices that could delete radioactive, but those devices had just a diameter, energy field diameter of maximum 150 meter. And now we are at several hundred kilometer. I'm working now with people who are much, much more advanced than my son, because with my son it was trouble with ego and finance and earning money and all this kind of shit. I tried to push it ahead. My son actually damaged the whole project 2 times, but now a 3rd time I will not allow this anymore, and I will really bring it to an end. We placed already several 100 devices in Europe, and we like to finalize it in Europe. We found a man who is working for a very famous organization. He has a diplomatic status, and he has access to very high amounts of money. And he said he would like to use that money for a very positive effect. And actually he felt the energy, because he was cycling after many, many years without doing any sport before, and he was surprised. He didn't lose any energy going hills up and down and many, many kilometers, but he was not exhausted at all. At the end of this cycling tour, he had the same fitness like he started before. And he was wondering what's the reason for that. And he realized in Switzerland, we had already placed 15 of such towers, 1.8 meter. And we had a huge positive energy field, and therefore it was recovering him all the time. And he is now dedicated to sponsor all the towers that we would need for Europe. And also I see my possibility to help different continents and so on. I spend all the money, my personal money and whatever, in order to fulfill this job. And we are on a good track. And as we get more and more interest in people and good people, and also for me it's a very positive sign, because with this work, when people are not spending money for their own towers, that they just themselves, that they are safe, but when they think for millions of other people by purchasing a bigger power tower that can maybe create an energy field of 100 or several 100 kilometers, you see something of you understand the character of such a person, the approach, and that this person is not keen on money or fame or whatever. These are persons who are doing their job quiet but straight and true and really, and we found very good friends this way. It was amazing, and I just like to bring it to an end. We don't have a lot of time because 5G, they try to create the second wave in order to have enough deaf people for the corona issue, and in order to implement the word, but can hinder it just by preventing any deaths. And these towers are able to prevent any damage through 5G or whatever other radiation. They are extremely good. People who have them are very happy and give us a extremely positive feedback. As soon as you can understand a little bit German, I could strongly recommend the Telegram group Cosmic Tower. The information, picture, and customers, and so on. Okay.
Thanks for that, Harold. We'll be having you on a show in a couple of weeks' time, and then we can go into this deeper. And then we'll probably follow up fairly quickly with a Zoom call for the THI state groups and also the THI country groups. We could probably accommodate all on one call, and then we decide how we're going to go forward with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Perfect.
Let's get into the show. So here we are, 7 years of knowledge further down the line, and with a rapid increase since the middle of 2016. And it all started with my introduction to the radio show with Drake. Is he in the house?
Look who it is, little Tally Choo Choo. Get it done.
Yeah. Grammy, Denise, Rick, oh dear. And of course, Tanath and Sunfire. And we developed along the way. But those initial weeks and months for me were a mixture of exciting times and also unpleasant times for me personally. You know, exciting as it was a new venture. And also it was the timing of my own higher personal awakening. It was fairly brutal. which is why I help so many now. And that awakening cost me my wife and children in many ways, and being involved in Truth Radio. But slowly but surely, I personally grew into the radio show circuit, and then when allowed by Drake, when allowed,
You're always stealing the spotlight, Tabby.
I began to speak a bit more, which was well received by the listeners, but I'm not too sure from Drakey Cakes.
Well, it kind of sounds like you were chewing on a bag of bricks half the time with that silly accent.
And then by October of that year, I had my feet under the table and I was getting fairly comfortable in a speaking role, which would have bemused many of my family connections and friends back in the UK, as they knew me as the quiet man who didn't speak too much and often too low and in a mumbling voice. Today, I'm a far cry from that speaker. So what did that show bring us? Well, it brought us weight clubs, Vietnam, PTSD, and guns, did it not, Drakey Cakes?
Well, it sounds like you're picking on old Drakey Cakes there. I had my problems, and I really liked that Agent Orange Tang. It was good stuff, and it maybe messed with my brain a little bit and gave me some PTSD and pussycat fever. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
With some strange British-speaking guy chiming in as best I could and also bashing my forehead at Drake's meanderings and wafflings.
What are you talking about? I was always right to the point. Everything I said had absolute importance. And, I may have had to walk around the circle to get it to you, but it's the way I download information. I get her done instead of mumble, gum.
And time told me I was not alone in that thought. Now, one of the funniest shows was when I had given Drake the intel, which he denies. And, and as usual, the speed reading started. And I'd prepared some topics for him, Thankfully, I was on mute in the studio that day, although I would have loved a video of that scene. You all would have needed deep ends, trust me. So I'm at my desk, and Drake starts off okay, and then goes off track. No surprise. And Chloe was on the right of me on her laptop and listening. And I slapped my forehead and was rolling my eyes and going, what's he saying? But Chloe completely lost it. She's like, what the fuck? Please shut him off. Mute him. Get him off the air.
Well, there you go. That's why Chloe disappeared to the ether, Tommy. She put out too many bad vibes towards Drakey Cakes, and I sent her on her way. Get her done.
And she was pacing up and down the living room with her head in her hands and going, Tommy, just turn him off for F's sake. He's ruining the whole show. You're wasting your time with him. And you should start your own show. And turn him off. But I never had any desire to start my own show, but eventually that's what it did. And of course, June of 2014 saw the first appearance of the now fabled most listened to shows. September of 15 saw Shane and I out the major portion of the control system, and later that year saw me out the factions, and things with Cosmic Voice all started to go downhill after that. Now, contrary to the public stance, I never trusted Keenan from October of 13 onwards. But I was not popular enough to take him on. But I knew eventually I would get an opportunity to expose his BS. That arrived in May of 16, and that launched the THI show and many other things. What started off as a tiny show turned into an epic teaching course for us all, myself included. In came the op-eds, the sub-intel, an evening with Thomas, which is a highly popular series that opened up people's throat chakra, Kim and the Trust, and a massive expansion of the most listened to shows. The now epic series, which we hope to convert into a book later this year, From Russia with Love. which was actually meant as a 2 to 3 part series, which then expanded into 10 to date, and even now has gone into an extra section called From Russia with Love Plus, which goes deeper into some of the details covered in the main series. In came the People's Club as well, and a vision of how life should be in the future for us all. In came the state and country groups and the expansion of our message, and that has generated many friendships across the globe, which pleases me immensely, some of which we see today. In came the solutions section of our show and into the state and country groups. Suddenly Thursday became Thursday, and it launched a plethora of what is now known as Tommyisms, and I'm sure you all have your favourites on that. In came the cat police, copy and paste crews, vomit gifs, and suddenly, I know you all love that one, people suddenly finding the urge to listen to rock music. Hammers, big hammers, and bigger hammers came in, clowns and bullshittery amongst many others. The shows became more prolific and deeper as we delved into so many subjects and showed how many of them are all connected with dots. Of course, we've had and have our critics, but telling the truth is triggering, as you all know too well. But the ones that departed in the main were not ready for the information at that time. Some returned, and some are still outside of it, but most of them still listen. Funny that. But it's a big thanks to our critics as well, as they teach us to act better in the future. Of course, some took criticism to a whole new level, but that is their path, paid or otherwise. I could reel off many names who have helped me along the way, as nobody goes on this long journey without some help, and apologies if I have left some names out. Drake, Tanath, Sunfire and Denise were all big helps along the way. Shane, the ruiner, was a big help as well, although I feel his people think he helped too much, and he kind of paid a price for that. Randy Morgan's was a big help as well, until he decided to take a different path. Alan from OYM, and now Circle of White Light, has been a constant source of help to me and THI, and also the TPC. Michael Jacquin has been a big source of help in doing the websites, setting up MeWe and posting the shows each week. Notable mentions to Liam Torrance for his support in more ways than one, Nancy Behrens, Jennifer Joyce, Willow. Thanks to Mark Lacasse for his work with the TPC. Thanks to Michelle, our director with Holly of the TPC, and the work and support she gives me and many of you as well. A big thanks to Chloe Kirker in my awakening, support of the show, and the knowledge she gave. Big thanks for Kim, the trustee, for entrusting me with a role within the trust and parting with much knowledge that gave me more insight into the bigger picture. And a big thanks to my admins. 2 of them have been with me the whole 7 years. James Godbeer. We added Ramona on the big help that she's given. And then, of course, we come to the woman with her own time zone. She has a completely her own time zone and is kind of the rock behind Cosmic Voice and THI, Holly Hakes Peterson. But special thanks to you all for taking the time and listening. Our shows are not for everyone. Too many don't wish to hear the real truth. Truth is brutal. It is triggering, as you've all found out. But it's also cathartic as we purge the lies of the past, purge their fake his storybooks, purge the portal people lies and deceit, and charted a new path for us all. The essence of THI is how we all develop ourselves, become better people, learn from our mistakes, but not treat mistakes as something to fear or ridicule. They are lessons for us all. THI is about getting people out of the harvesting astral level and onto the mental planes where your natural technology kicks into higher gear. And THI is about getting people to be caring and sharing, to cooperate, need not greed, and for following what I said on the very first show, which became another THI meme, think and act different. THI does not belong to me. It is part of you all. And this is a celebration of you all and your own personal achievements. Thank you all. Right, who is going to go first? Jason.
Hi Tommy, hi everyone. Hello from Ireland. So when Tommy put this out on last week's show, I got to thinking, I'm gonna step forward because I've a lot to speak about. And I started putting words on paper, and this could easily have been 40 or 50 pages long. That's how much I've learned. And I've tried my best to condense it down to 4 pages. And of course, I'm not going to be able to mention everything, and I'm not going to be able to go into the detail that I would like to. So please forgive where I just briefly mention things and pass over. You'll all know from your own experiences the background to that I speak of. So with your indulgence, I'll continue. I'll get onto it. So if I were to sum up the impact THI has made to my life in one word, that word is internal. If I were to summarize the one takeaway from my time in this group, it will be that it is crucial to monitor, to properly manage and cultivate my internal world, and to allow anything and everything that does not positively contribute to my sense of well-being, peace and happiness, and all that is not aligned with my higher self to dissolve away. For me, this has taken much effort at times to rid myself of everything that isn't aligned with my higher self. I'm still a work in progress. I guess one of the obvious areas that THI has changed and impacted my life is in the knowledge of what actually happened here into humanity. Like most of you, I had to go through the true trauma of the confirmation that things got beyond messed up here. It took me a few weeks to get my head around the time loops, for example. But after dealing with all this sin eating, this has given me enormous confirmation of myself, of who and what I am, as well as solidifying my purpose here, to transform this diseased matrix and to help change things for the better for all life here. This has empowered me, increased my self-confidence and self-worth, which has fed into an increased level of self-awareness, and this has further increased and strengthened my strong intuition. I have recently acknowledged to myself I need to be more forceful and impose my will on matters here, because I am here to do a job. My intuition is getting stronger and stronger. I trust it now no matter what the physical presents. If something feels off, every single time my intuition eventually gets proven correct. Intuition has been proven correct about certain people and situations in life I found myself in. I can see who is who and where they're at. I know I need to remain discerning forevermore concerning people. It's just the way it is here. Before THI, I had no clue about the absolute necessity to shield up and protect my being. None whatsoever. Shielding up, protecting my energy, ensuring I'm not harvested is a daily routine now, like brushing my teeth. I've become more accepting of myself. I find it much easier than ever in my life to forgive myself and others for indiscretions, mistakes, having a clearer understanding of the many manipulations that have gone on here and how my life force energy and that of others has been harvested and interfered with and manipulated. I am happier and more peaceful and more content in myself, even more self-dependent and self-reliant, and I was always a person who understood how important it was to me that I'm not beholden to anyone. I'm much quicker to cut people out now and not indulge in any of their drama. I walk away, I don't react like I once used to, and I allow time to do its thing and these folks to reveal their true selves and motives. Truth be told, I don't really need the universe to validate for me anymore my feelings about these people, such as the level of confidence I now have in my intuition. I am firmly focused on manifesting my best life, and to hell with anyone else trying to mess this up, but I am absolutely aware of massive interference in this regard. Inwardly focused and giving my internal world the priority and attention that it requires is the focus of my intention now. I am not as weighed down as I used to feel. And as I continue to do the inner work, confront myself and my demons and my programming and conditioning, I lose all the labels and the descriptions and find myself just being. I've learned that while yes, I've had my fair share of crap to overcome, being an empath and a strong one at that, I've learned I've allowed the world and other people to dictate to me and tell me who I am and what I am, and I've learned the hard way that I have to be especially careful regarding picking up on others' feelings and energy. I'd be discriminating to know my own energetic signature well enough so that I can discriminate between what is me and my own versus what is other people's. But this was only after many years of absorbing others' crap, thinking it was me and having to wade through all the messiness that entailed. It is said before you diagnose with yourself with depression, first check you're not surrounded by arseholes. I relate to that strongly. I have removed many from my life. I suppose I value myself to a degree like never before. In fact, and this has to be said, while I'm the first to admit and understand this work is never finished, my self-esteem is pretty good, and for me this is quite the victory. I know I need to keep up the daily effort in this regard. I've written this on the page many times and will restate this fact then once again. Why would the dark go to such extraordinary lengths to control us if we weren't more powerful than we've been led to believe? This sentence has proven itself to be a powerful motivator for me. I had this dream once I told Tommy about. I don't remember my dream as much, although this seems to be changing rapidly. But in this dream, I was both the participant in the dream, yes, Tommy was present, and at the same time the watchful observer. It was beyond powerful, a confirmation of my multidimensionality. This multidimensional aspect of my being has been displayed to me a lot through dreams this past week. I am more peaceful. I look back upon my journey this lifetime with compassion and forgiveness for myself. If I were to list out all the times I fucked shit up and made poor choices, we'd be here all day. And anyway, I don't need to do this, for you're all well versed in this at this stage in critically looking at your own journeys, and the many times we have all fallen short. No judgment whatsoever. There is also a strengthened ability within me to remain calm and stay balanced. I now have a heightened sense knowing that I'm way more than I ever thought I was, and way more than this world has continually tried to dictate to me that I am. Like most of you, I've endured and survived many, many difficulties in life. Abuse, poverty, bullying, no real connection in the past to family members and so-called friends, although my relationship with my parents has never been better. I thank THI for that. But before THI, I felt an overbearing sense of feeling alone and isolated and alienated from the maddening world around me. I've experienced forced unemployment many times. I always wondered why me. But I understand now that I am different, and this difference inspires jealousy in others. I carry within me something I don't fully understand yet, but I am different to the majority walking around. Even if from time to time I still act out of a place of unconsciousness, I know I am more than that act of unconsciousness. Life has been harsh at times and beyond unfair, yet I look at these experiences as lessons, as the tempering of me and my refinement into something much greater than I could ever have imagined myself to be. I am proud of myself. This wisdom I have accumulated didn't come cheap. It's been the result of some tough times, some harsh experiences, and of course I'm still a work in progress, but I'm absolutely going to get there. My heart and my soul slowly but surely are gaining the upper hand over my monkey mind. I can tell you all in the past my monkey mind was running rampant, making a fool of me time and time again and adding to my troubles. Until I stepped off the merry-go-round and said enough. I couldn't have and wouldn't have done that for THI. Meditation, yoga, yes, I shield up. Being in nature daily contribute greatly to my success here. I must also mention the trees, for they've been the most wonderful friends I can't even begin to tell you. Daily I connect with them and I can see the improvement within as a result. I have and continue to break free of society's and family patterning and conditioning. My folks have their own issues. Like most of their generation, they are riddled with poverty consciousness and poor self-esteem. But in fairness to both of them, a critical analysis of their lives and upbringings clearly illustrates why this is. I am not sitting in judgment of them, quite the opposite in fact. I understand them, perhaps more so than they understand themselves. Of course, they've both been heavily influenced by the Luciferian doctrines of Catholicism. They also have had both harsh and tough lives. I recognize the conditioning passed down to me from my parents and also society, and the education system as well as religion. And my desire to break free from it is true. I am always there for my parents if they need me for anything, but make no mistake, it is my own internal compass I lean on now when making decisions about my life, not them nor anybody else's. But I wish the state they are not bad people. They are the product of hard and difficult times. And I know for a fact, if I were born when they were, and if I had to deal with the hardships they have, I myself might also have similar worldviews and a similar disposition on life. This is why I get how important compassion is in our world. This is why I've extended many times this compassion to Mother Midgard, whether she abandoned the planetary body or not, to the reptilians, despite the damage they even inflicted here, because I have walked through great deception myself, and I just wanted the stage to correct things and move forward. Some of my own soul lessons in this lifetime have been seeing my own true worth, loving myself and having boundaries and defending them. Once upon a time, I had terribly low self-esteem and self-confidence. This has changed and is continuing to change. I see how I need to trust myself and be confident in myself because this leads to increased peace and happiness. I see the interconnectedness of all things and how having poor self-esteem resulted in the same old bullshit and the same types of clowns showing up time and time again in my life. I want to say a few things about our Tommy. I cannot even begin to tell you all how crucial he has been and continues to be, and what a blessing it is to have him in my life. To have watched him deal with everything these past few months, I am full of admiration for you, Tommy, and how you've handled it all. Even more admiring am I of you, of the way you keep the door open for them to return and work together to get the job done. I've learned a tremendous amount from you and continue to, and I'm not just talking about the time loops or all the endless knowledge you bring to the table, like in every show you do, but I speak here of how you just be and operate in the world, how you deal with people, with disappointment at being let down by others. You've raised the bar considerably, and while I'm the first to acknowledge the work I still have to do, you've given me a target, a goal to reach. And for that, most of all, I am the most grateful. It cannot and should not ever be underestimated the importance of having someone to inspire you to greater heights, to challenge you to be and do better. I have discovered and learned I have many enemies around me who pretend to be my friend, but in reality do not want me to be happy, free or abundant. I allowed them in the past through my own lack of understanding and knowledge and self-deception and lack of confidence in myself to interfere with my creation, my reality and my manifestation. And I can see clearly now how a lack of confidence in myself is connected to this miscreation and manifests itself as blockages and all sorts of other BS. I have a PhD in self-sabotage and I own that, and finally I'm moving away from this energy, but it's all connected and it's all related, and I had to wise up, take stock, take responsibility, do some deep internal analysis, take off the rose-colored glasses and see things, situations and people for what they really are, not what I wish them to be. It wasn't fun realizing I was for the most part unknowingly deceiving myself all this time, but there you go. It is what it is, or should I say with some confidence, it was what it was. Armed with the sword of truth, after a lifetime of lessons and much self-deception, I am tearing down everything that no longer serves or brings value to my life. There was a lot to dismantle. And I won't front, I won't bullshit. It's taken me the longest time to learn how to properly surrender and let things be what they truly are, but I believe after much time, effort and critical thought, I'm truly getting there now. It's been an important, critical lesson. A tough lesson, and I made it much harder than it had to be for sure. But I cannot overstate the great lengths the Matrix and its many minions have gone to keep me locked into the frequency of fear and self-doubt and confusion. I'm sure many of you can and will relate. I'm stepping out of fear. It's been a lifelong journey to get here. I assure you it wasn't an overnight thing, and the result of a lifetime of hardship, most of it my own unwillingness to see the wood from the trees and lots of fear. But I know deep within this is changing for me. I lean heavily on the divine and source and have surrendered to both, and it amazes me the patience and care they have towards me. It blows my mind actually. Knowing what I know about myself and my own journey, I have been shown great patience and love. I am so grateful. Well, I'm at this long enough now to understand myself much better and how this all seems to work thanks to THI. I'm not naive to think I don't need to fully embrace the many changes occurring internally and to keep surrendering, because while I have no clue what's in store, I have faith now and trust it will be all okay. There is no evidence, mind you, in the physical yet, but my faith, which has undergone many, many challenges, is growing exponentially now. And hear this. I am worthy, I am deserving, I am lovable, and I'm done with anything that attempts to shatter this newfound sense of self-worth, self-love, and self-respect. I've just worked too hard to give up this ground which is so hard won. I love you all. I'm beyond happy to know you and to be a part of this group which has gone through many, many trials and tribulations these past 4 years I've been a member. Thank you, Tommy, for giving a shit, for always being there to bounce things off of, and for your incredible generosity towards me. I've been through a lot in this lifetime, and these many, many lessons and experiences I've gone through only further feed into this growing sense of self-worth and self-esteem. Don't forget it is written that Source, God, never gives you more than you are able to handle. If this is the measure of strength, then I am one tough son of a bitch indeed. But know this, the dark has targeted me all my life. The dark understands me and my internal makeup, and has so cunningly and ingeniously triggered all my insecurities and my shortcomings and my fears. I see this so clearly now. And to them, I say this overflowing with self-confidence. Thank you for the lessons, but you can F off now, because I'm done with the bullshit. I'm stepping into the unknown and surrendering to the universe. It has taken me all my life to get to this point, but I see how this was all a part of my journey. For I'm a trailblazer, a way shower, and I still stand tall in my own uniqueness and know that with Source, all things are possible. There's just no way I would have reached this stage if it not were for the presence of THI in my life. That's it.
Thank you, Jason. I'm sure that echoes and mirrors many people on here. It is painful lessons that we all have to learn. Unlearning the truth is one of the biggest ones, and then going on and changing your way of thinking. This is why we said the very first show, we must think and act different. We can't carry on with the same thinking patterns and expect the change. The change is us. It always was. You know, we have people who, in this group, I'm hoping one comes on later, who has left religion, and they've never felt better. You know, we've waited for these types of religious saviors for thousands of years, when the savior was always us. And so, thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Tommy.
I know Mr. Petula, Bob, wants to, he wanted to speak a while ago. Of course, we helped Bob recently. Bob's been, unfortunately, not too well, and not being able to get about. And courtesy of the TPC, Bob has now got his own motorized wheelchair, and he's running people over everywhere now, I hear. Hi, Bob.
Hello, Thomas. I become speed racer.
Good.
And the chair works well. I was able to celebrate with my family my 17th wedding anniversary on August the 5th. And that was wonderful for me because and doing it with Zoom, I was able to chat with my family. So there's so much I want to personally thank you, Tommy, for making the chair happen, because I would still not have it yet. And the way things are, and unfortunately this week I developed a slight kidney infection, so we're a little bit on the low side, but we're still good because I got all these smiling faces looking at me on my screen. So I really appreciate it. And what THI has done for me, it's given me the strength. And what I want to do with you, Tommy, one day is maybe be a co-host or co-helper. So with all the stuff going on, it's getting more and more complicated by the day, and more and more. We need more strength for all of us to make it through. And I like the idea presented for the 5G towers, and to neutralize the energy. I think that's fantastic because normally we can do that ourselves, but we haven't learned how to connect it yet. But this will provide a new way to heal the body. So, Thomas, I thank you so much, and thank you for this time. I'm humbled by it.
Thanks, Bob. This is what THI and TPC is really all about. You know, some people think or thought it was all about the trust and the trust money. It's not. You know, it's about people coming together and caring for each other. You know, unfortunately, we don't do that enough. You know, if there was more nice people, the world would be a nicer place. It's not. And this is why we come together with the TPC and we look after people like Bob and give them a hand up, not a handout, and all step forward. Glenn has a particular story to tell and a fairly elevated move.
Glenn?
Yes.
What did I do?
Not Drakey cakes this time. Well,
well, I can put that hat on too. It doesn't matter, Tommy. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Get her done. All right, that's enough for him. So, yeah, my story's kind of similar to a lot of people's in THI. Unlike Jason, who was going to make us all look bad, thanks. I didn't write down anything, and I'm just going to come to you from the heart. And, you know, most of you have heard my evening with Thomas and know the perils and trials of my life, and I've been through the ringer. But inherently, deep down inside out, there was always a good person inside of me. Let me take you all out of the fridge because my phone overheated. Hang on. Need to get a better view. There you go. So, yeah, I've been through the ringer. I've been through the system. I was a DJ in Manhattan. I was a collector for certain entities of, shall we say, the dark forces. You know, making sure everybody got their payments and people that didn't have the money to pay it, paid it somehow. And there was, you know, a lot of violence and a lot of evil that I reveled in as a youth. All in that time, it was just a revolt against how cruel the world was, and that wasn't who I was, but I became that to overcome it. So if you can't beat them, join them. So that's pretty much who I was. I was survival of the fittest and do whatever needs to be done to get ahead. That lifestyle led to a lot of pain and suffering. Not just on my part, but on people I interacted with. And I always knew there was a better way. And eventually I found our buddy Drakey Cakes there, David Wilcock-Yu, and all their fun friends. Well, and we had a lot of fun together. And then this little voice came on after a while. A little hard to understand, but thankfully my heritage is from Scotland, and I grew up with everyone that could barely be understood. So it was easy to fall in line with Tommy's thoughts, words, actions, deeds, and they have all been wonderful. And yes, his voice has gotten tremendously stronger over the years, and he is a great presenter, and I love him dearly. But he is the catalyst that moved me from dark to light and helped me find balance in myself to know that I can use the darkness to benefit the people in the light. And I can use the light to bring people out of darkness. So I have become that 45-55 that Tommy oftenly speaks of so fondly. And I'm very grateful to all the members in THI. I can't name everybody. You know who you are. We interact all the time. And yeah, I may have a little fun and be Drakey Cakes here and there to lighten the mood.
And I do have a lot of love for him because his heart is in the right place. His head, unfortunately, is stuck firmly between his butt cheeks. Sorry, Drake. I love you. You're going to come back around someday. So anyway, in summation, I got in touch with my true self thanks to THI. And I have met a wonderful group of people that think just like I have my whole life, but had the courage to stay in that mindset and not deviate towards the darkness. However, the deviation and the trip I took down the wrong path only made me stronger and only made me more powerful in this fight against the dark. So that being said, we still need balance in order to go forward and co-create together. And remember what happened to this universe when somebody said, well, let's be all la-di-da and light. Well, that can't happen. So we've learned a lot. And Thomas has led a tremendous charge to move us all towards a better way of thinking, acting, and being. I know you don't like saying being or doobie doing, but that's okay. Everybody catches the drift, and I'm here to help everybody just the same as Thomas is. And that's the lesson we need to take away from all of the work that THI does, all the work that the People's Club does. It's us moving each other forward. It's not just on Tommy's shoulders. It's not just on Kim's. She will come back to us. I know that. And it's on all of us. The 99% has to stand up and say enough is enough. We have a better way to move forward. And this is it. Love. Love with the knowledge of what darkness can be so that we can keep it out of the cobwebs and the corners. So that's basically all I have to say. Tommy, if you want to interject and bring up anything else that I've missed, because I'm sure I have, you're more than welcome to do so.
We're going to touch on some aspects throughout this show because a lot of the hidden, there's a lot of hidden work that goes on in THI. Getting people off long-term meds, getting people off drugs, illegal or otherwise. People have walked away from cults and religions. And many of you are now starting, and I'll be speaking to one shortly, to reach the higher awakening period. And I know you're one of them.
Aye, 'tis true. I am no longer, that's probably something I didn't mention and I should have. The long trail of night terrors and clown realms and mirror realms, wolf realms and all of that I've suffered since early childhood. And it wasn't until the last couple of years where I had the grace to find the mental planes. And I don't remember anything most of the time when I wake up, but I know that I'm helping and I don't live in fear in my dream time anymore. And that is directly related to Tommy, THI, and the energy we all put forth to each other. And not only that, I failed to mention that I've met an incredible individual who seems to have pulled me out of my He-Man Woman Haters Club mode and has opened my heart to the possibility of and the actuality of love. And I'd like to thank Angela. I know she's on the call, and you know who you are, and hopefully you will get to speak also. So I love you, my dear, and I wouldn't have found you without THI, Tommy, and the rest of us. So love moves forward, and love moves us all. So expect bigger and better things out of old Drakey cakes.
Good. Yes, there has been a few of THI love connections, more than people think, that has been dotted around, and that's good as well. You know, this truth journey is a lonely path, none more so than what I've experienced. You know, But it's a path that we've all chosen to take. And yes, we've lost a lot of people, all of us. And the idea behind today's show is to remember what we've gained, not what we've lost. And that's important, is the change of mindset and focus. We all go, oh, I haven't got this or I haven't done that. But what about what you have done and what you have gained, and less about what you've lost? We've all lost people, friends, partners, wives, husbands, etc., even parents, and many of our circle. But we've gained an awful lot. We've gained an inner strength. They're all external people, everyone. It's what have you gained? And this is why today is important. And yes, I will get a lot of praise for it. But you did the work, not me. I was just the trigger, the famous trigger, Who are we going to bring in next? Holly. Now, Holly, who has her own time zone, as we all know, Central Time no longer exists. It's now called Holly Time. And Holly has been with me since September of 2013 and is now also the director of the TPC as well. And Holly came through her own issues before THI, but has worked hard to help other people who have had similar issues as well. And I want to say a big thanks to Holly.
Hi, Tommy. Hi, guys. Thank you very much. Boy, yeah, I started my journey probably in 2006, but it didn't really hit me until I found Drake back in Freedom Reigns, right, Dave? And then we moved to, gosh, what was it, Universal Voice, that Cosmic Voice?
Yep.
I think that's how it went.
Yes.
And then, yeah, so I met Tommy in, I think it's Cosmic Voice. And THI is really where everything kicked in for me. How's it changed my life? In every single way. From relationships, a lot of people don't like to hear what we have to say, and that's okay. So I have lost some people, and some people, my relationships have been redefined. I don't talk about certain issues with them. It's maybe more superficial than I'd like, but they're important enough that I want to keep them in my life. So that's how I do that. We moved out of the city, thank you, because I hated city living, and back to my home state of Iowa. And one of the things that I went through throughout my life was I wanted my daddy's approval. And while I always knew that he loved me and everything, I really never felt like I got it 100% until THI. And fortunately, before his Alzheimer's set in, I was able to spend some time with him and show him some documents, and he even listened to the show a couple times. He knew Tommy's voice. And he was able to tell me that he believed me. And that not only, was a heartfelt, huge thing for me, but it stopped that need for approval that I had. I didn't have to do it anymore because that one person absolutely believed me, and that was awesome. I've changed the way I bank. I've changed the way I shop. I've changed the way I think. Everything has changed because of THI. And while I've lost some friends along the way, I've gained a whole lot more. And some of you I've been friends with from day one. We've had a lot of chats, talked to each other on Facebook and Zoom and what have you. And some of you I've worked with. And I appreciate that, because one of the things that I learned back in AA was when you call somebody, you may not realize how much they need help and how much you need help. And that happens with me. Somebody will reach out to me from THI and, want some help, and they don't have any idea how much that helped me too. This whole group, I had a good foundation, I think. I think I had a really good constitution as far as who I am. And once I got rid of the alcohol and all the crap that goes with that, my world started to expand. But mostly being a member of THI and working with Tommy and the other admins and Michelle, it's really helped me. It's really helped give me the confidence that I didn't have. I feel so much. I think Jason said it really, really well. Thank you so much, Jason. And of course, I love the Irish accent. Little topper on it. But being able to be an admin and a member and a director of TPC, it's opened so many things inside of me that I kind of had either a closed door or a partially open door. I've been able to walk through some of those. And while, like Jason said, we all still have work to do, I certainly do still have work to do. This has just changed. It hasn't changed me as much as it's just helped me be more comfortable in my own skin and my own soul. I just want to say one more thing. I know some of you already know, Tommy's my best friend. And he means a great deal to me. He's helped me. One of the mottos we have on the THI page is let them hang themselves. I think a lot of you probably know what that means, but when we get trolls and shills on the page that want to cause havoc, we try to work with them if possible. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. But rather than run in there and try to defend THI and defend Tommy, it's step back a little bit, try to talk to them and just let it be. Because if they really are shills and they're really there to cause chaos, they hang themselves. They always do. That one little thing I still carry with me, and it's helped in so many ways. It's been a privilege and an honor to be a part of this group. And Tommy, I can't wait to meet you someday. And
yes, that'll be cool.
It will be. And I know I'm forgetting something, but anyway, I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for all the support you give THI and me and the other admins and Tommy. It's greatly, greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Holly. Holly's, like I said, has been with me the whole 7 years, as is James Godbeer, and there's some others. And Holly's been a tremendous help to me. That's why I gave it a special mention at the opening. This is not a single journey. It's not all about me. It never was. It's about us all and everyone chipping in, and Holly's more than chipped in her time. And I don't think people really appreciate at times the work that the admins do behind the scenes, because the bits that you may hear in the show about trolls and shills and certain special groups, special being the operative word, yellow bus special, who have copy and paste skills. Now, these are far more prolific in the background than in the foreground, and it all gets dealt with rather quietly in our own way. And it's the rare occasions you see it go out into the public is a small percentage of what really goes on behind the scenes. Is that not the case, Holly?
Yeah. And let me just add one last thing. So some of you know about Holly Time. It's a great, it's a great joke, and I love it. I used to like to give credit to my mom because she was part Native American, and we always used to say Native Americans had their own time zone, you know, their own time schedule. But Tommy did a show not too long ago on time, and I loved it because it was all about, you know, the power of time. So, yeah, I got my own time zone, and it's so powerful, and I love it.
Yes, and you're also part of the elderly club with Michelle, are you not?
Yes, tiny man.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you.
Sorry, Craig Taylor or Perla or both from Scandinavia. You know, we are global. And Dennis Philly sent a message, but he wanted to be read out. I'm hoping Craig can chime in, and then Perla can speak about her part.
Yep, we are here.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Craig.
Hi, Thomas. I'll read out the message at Dennis. In May 2017, I joined THI after coming across the show Thomas Williams did. I happily joined because I felt the information given by Thomas was truthful and given from a perspective of honesty and a genuine strive for a better world, not out of looking for personal fame. Sorry, I've got a bit of a bad chest, Thomas.
He was running up the stairs. He was down and had a puff. Sorry to interrupt. Oh, take a deep breath.
Thomas and his team unraveled a clear vision of the construct of a hidden reality that defies any imagination. This gave me a complete overview of the puzzle I was trying to solve for myself, and all the pieces that led to that puzzle. It allows me to comprehend my world and everything that happens on it, even though the incredibly heinous things done to the people, and specifically to children, are still very hard to swallow, if that were possible at all. This revelation of the world has trained us to think twice or even thrice when confronted with any news. Do I agree with everything that is stated in the shows? No. I have to do my own thinking, and I think it should be possible to disagree on parts while the general overall picture remains unaltered. Setting up the THI group led to like-minded people connecting and learning from each other, either by posting news and discoveries or by sharing with each other what moves them. It is very comforting for all of us who have been ridiculed time and time again for our knowledge to find a place to be valued for your opinion. However, that all is not the biggest accomplishment of THI for me. Our world is changing. We all feel this. It is culminating to a historic point out of the Mobius. We all understand what is wrong extremely by now. Hopefully we are headed for a better world in which we can all thrive. That is what we are striving for. But how can we, who know better and more of what has gone wrong, be a lighting example of others if we do not have a clear picture of ourselves? How can we lead the way, like many of us feel we have been born for, if we are afraid to step through the mirror and look back at ourselves in all honesty, to see without judgment or prejudice what isn't right internally? Our shortcomings, our flaws and wounds need to be taken care of just as much as our talents and skills. If we really want change, we need to become caring and sharing adults that cannot easily become unbalanced because we truly know who we are and where we stand. That is what we really need to prepare for. Only then a better world will be able to emerge and stick. The understanding of that is the accomplishment of THI that literally changed me for the better and for which I am eternally grateful. Well written by Dennis there, Thomas. Thank you.
Yes. Perla, do you want to speak of how it's changed you and your group in particular?
Oh, it has happened a lot since the first THI Zoom call with you, Thomas. When I speak out about the explosion of that planet, that made me cry, and it was such a healing. So that is the first really strong experience to be on a THI Zoom call. And when I find you and heard your truth, it was such a relief, and I felt finally I find someone that really speaks the truth with high costs, and that made me feel calm and at home. And finally, all my life I've been searching for others that feel like I do, and I found that in THI. And Marjolein from Holland became a friend immediately, and and when I talked to her and Jason and from the European people in the beginning 2 years ago, when I first find you, without thinking, I start up the THI Sweden group and had no idea at all what that would lead to. And it's incredible. It's more or less a full-time job. And it's a lot of work behind, and I think it's the same for the most THI leaders, or what we call us. I don't know. We are all leaders. Everyone are. And in our group, everyone take a huge responsibility. We are very active, and we have had 6 big meetings and several small ones, and we are planning our 7th meeting now in September. And Sweden is very long and small, so sometimes we go 60 miles to see each other and things like that. We would go for a whole day by car, and to attend to these meetings, to see each other and learn from each other, and talk. And we have really become a family, and we have struggled as well. We have gone through a lot together. We have had 59 Zoom calls by now, and we have taken a summer break with the questions. Otherwise, we had gone through that 39 questions by now, but we have just a few left, 4 or 5, to make our brains work and think different and find solutions for things. And and we have also prepared to start up the association, and with everything, it's ready to go, and so when you said in the beginning of this Zoom call that you will have a call for see how to go forward with People's Club, I know I can speak for all of us. We are happy. We have waited a little bit. We still hope we can start up the People's Club Sweden, and all is prepared for that. And but the best thing with THI, now you're smiling, you know what's coming. One day, one of the members put out a picture that he had painted. He was fed up with his male hammers and male figures, and he put out a girl smashing her instead of a hammer, and wrote with runes Mjölner on her arm. And that's how it started, because I'm really, really interested in runes, and especially the first alphabet, as I know it. It might be something else, but that is what I've learned. So we start to communicate, and that have led to that he sits beside me here now in Sweden. Man from Britain, Bristol, and
well, without THI, Thomas, we wouldn't have met. So we have you to thank for that. Honestly, genuinely,
yeah.
And apologies to Dennis for butchering that slightly. I ran upstairs too quickly. We've had a really good Zoom with you last, Thomas, on also. I think it was going to be an hour. It lasted to over 3 hours. We just couldn't stop talking. There was a lot of great information. We have a member in the Swedish group who wishes to buy property, and that's going to be a THI centre. So we're going to start there. We have people in this local community where we live in Sweden, and we're going to be joining with some of them who already have projects going, gardening and other various things. And it's looking really good, really positive. We're all really happy. We've all become a big family, as per said, and that's thanks to you and THI, Thomas. So
yeah, and so we will actually be a little small THI meeting here next weekend, and actually it's nearly like that every weekend here.
Just by and it's
I think we're losing your connection a bit.
They've all got their time. They never go empty-handed.
No.
And we have a whole group from Retwin. That's why we don't have the camera on, because it's a bad connection here on the countryside. We are on a little island in middle of a river.
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds lovely.
I'd like to say that we have a big group up in Rättvik, up in north, that are really progressing with a lot of how do you say that?
Projects?
A project with gardening. They have got a lot of land, and there are about 20 people that is inspired by Anastasia. We are all reading that and are very, very inspired of the books. We have found someone that have translated into Swedish.
Cool.
So lots is going on. We can go on for a long time, but we have to let someone else in, I guess. Thank you very, very much from the depth of my heart, Thomas. I've never ever been so happy in my whole life as now.
Thank you. It's great to hear. You've been to Ireland, America, Sweden. And it's about everyone coming together. This is what it's all about. Cooperating. People thought it would be so easy to just start the state and country groups, and you all found out that it wasn't as easy as you first thought, because we've forgotten how to work together. Everyone has still playing in the old system of let's compete and drag each other down. No, let's cooperate and lift each other up. And this is what I'm seeing within our group, and it's fantastic, Now, I know you're all on mute, but in a minute, I'm going to throw all the mics open if you want to speak quickly, because we do have a special guest on today who's not part of THI, but is in spirit, and that is my mother.
Oh.
Mum?
Hello. Hello, all you lovely people. I'm very into gardening too.
Me too.
Oh, it's been very interesting listening to all your stories and how you've moved on. And I'm very pleased for you. Very pleased. And I know Thomas is doing a good job.
Yes.
Yep. So this is quite a change for me because I was not the easiest child to bring up.
True. True.
And my mother will attest to my speaking problems when I was younger, and it's a vast change, and my mum's been learning stuff from me and is now seeing what you all see, and firing back herself, which is good. And it's kind of difficult to get over that hurdle of what everything we've been taught practically is a lie. What is supposed to be caring for people is actually working against people. And, Mum's 81 now, and she's learning a lot. And I told her, there's a lot of other things. It's not all about talking about ETs and the government does this and Langley does that. There's a hidden aspect to THI that's essentially a psychological program of how we all develop. And that's why I asked her to come on today. So she's hearing all of the work that we're doing. And I hope you enjoy it.
Wonderful.
Right.
Wonderful.
So if you all want to ask Mum a question, we can leave it open for a couple of minutes and then we'll go on to some more. Anyone?
Well, first of all, I just want to cry happy tears when I saw your mom, Thomas. That is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. My question is, what is it like to spend your life with one of the funniest, most critical guys you'll ever meet? He's got an answer for everything. We're glad for it most of the time. What was it like being this gentleman's mom a little bit? I got to know.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work.
My mum laughed when we had fun with the back end of Cosmic Voice and starting THI when some people accused Chloe of being my handler. And my mother said, good luck with that. Yes, I was a troublesome child, I'll admit. I told you there was no angel. But then part of it is the frustration of knowing knowledge then at that time and not being able to get it out. And of course, nobody wanted to talk about so-called conspiracies back then, and then, the internet kind of changed it for us all, where, like-minded nuts, as we were called, suddenly found each other. And it gave us a lot of strength and inspired us all, where everyone had been shut down, particularly in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. You couldn't speak. You didn't hear about these things, and people would roll eyes and all kinds of other stuff. And so, it's about charting your own path. And I just had great difficulty with authority.
Yes.
right from a very young age. And so I rebelled against parents, I rebelled against teachers, and particularly police and anything government, you know, and I think we've all gone through that, and we all have similar traits. So I'm going to publicly apologize for my behavior as a child mother and own it. So.
Doreen, when did you realize Thomas was different? Like, what was that moment when you realized, man, this guy's special, and not short bus special, but like, you know, what was that? What was that like for you as a mom? When did you know he was on to something, a different path?
Well, I think he's moved on in his life. He's doing something he loves doing. He loves helping people. He loves being there for people. And I think he's found his vocation. And that made it really good.
I just want to say thank you to Mom. Without you, we all wouldn't be here.
True. True. He's a good boy.
Yes, Doreen, you raised an exceptional boy. Thank you from our heart. Also here from New Zealand.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
They say that when you are intelligent, you have few friends, and that's probably why Tommy had a hard time to start with.
Probably. That's probably correct.
Doreen,
Hi,
I
Tommy.
wanted to say
Mom,
that.
this is
Hang on a minute. Amy?
I just wanted to say to your mom that I was also incredibly impressed that we learned last summer that you installed your own HVAC system. I just wanted to that. Very impressive.
Yeah, heating. I told people on the Zoom that you put your own central heating system in.
Yes, I do daft things like that.
Some content.
It's called lack of money. Do it yourself.
That's fine.
Some are daft in Disney, some are daft in Canaan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tommy's mom. This is Holly. Thank you for putting up with him as long as you have. We know he can be a pistol. But,
Thank you, Holly.
We're truly very grateful to have him, and welcome, and thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, a big thank you.
Doreen, I was going to say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Obviously, you did a very good job with Tommy as a mother, and so I just want to appreciate that.
Thank you.
Roger, you just echoed what I was thinking, and I want to ask Doreen, as a mother, knowing her son is special, hoping he becomes famous, not infamous, when they're that young age. And I've been personally practicing what not to say if I ever get interviewed, because I know I have all the secrets. So are there any things about Thomas that you can actually share that his face won't turn too red?
Plenty.
Oh, well, where do I start? There's lots of things I can share with him. As I say, his humour goes a long way. He's always smiling. And he brings a lot of joy to a lot of people, including his mum. And I love him. He's my best. And I think he's doing a good job.
Yes.
Yes, and we thank you all for all the times that you've helped raise him up and loved him and cared for him like any good mother does. Thank you.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
Russell?
Oh, sorry. Hi, Mrs. Williams.
Hello,
my
Russell.
mom's from Orpington. How are you?
I'm
my
fine,
mom's
thank you.
79, and she's from Orpington, just south of you there. And my aunt is also a Williams by marriage, and they're my favorite family. Great last name.
Well, I'm past my sell-by date now.
Oh, you look wonderful.
I keep busy. I don't have time to grow old. I'm too busy. Always busy.
She won't stop. Yeah, she has a fairly large garden front and back where she lives, and it's won several awards for the regional awards for Gardener of the Year. I keep telling her to step back a bit, but no, she carries on and knocks walls down and builds central heating and all kinds of stuff.
I'm a good jobber. If I look at it and say it doesn't need to be there, I'll take it down.
Right.
Move walls.
Okay, good. Right.
Okay, my love.
Thanks, Mom, and we'll press on with where are we?
We love you, Mom.
We do.
Love you too. Love you too.
Thanks, Mrs. Williams.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
Thank you. Where are we going next?
I'd like to say thanks to your mom as well, Thomas.
Yes. Well, Ramona, you can speak as well. So you can thank Mum and then tell your story.
Oh. Well, oh my.
Let's keep our love story quiet.
I had to open my mouth, right? All right. Well, Mrs. Williams, I want to say thank you to you because obviously you've worn a velvet glove in handling him, and set a really good example simply by the way you lived. Because that's what I get from him energetically, is that he has become who he has become by the way he's observed you living. And that you mentioned about bringing down walls, well, he does a lot of that on his own. So it's obviously by your wisdom and that velvet glove of being able to guide someone through their own journey that he's learned from you and the family. So thank you for that.
Oh,
and
thank
for
you.
having him in your life and having him in our life and bringing him into this life.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Now you want me to talk about my journey? Oh my.
You've been on one of several in the group now who have been on a heightened awakening experience, and if you can talk a bit about that or something else you wish to say, fine.
Okay. Well, let's see. I joined THI in September 9th, I think it was, in 2016, at the referral of another member, and I've not regretted it or looked back or diverted. And what your platform has allowed me to do is speak up and bring forth my words, much of which I credit to my dad for how he's raised me, because I myself was a quiet child. No one would ever believe that, but I was, and very shy, and didn't want to look people in the eyes because I could see into their hearts, and a lot of times it was not a pretty picture, because that's what my dad taught me to do, was not to look at the outside of people, but to read their hearts. And so this is just, I took that for granted. I thought everyone did that, and this is how everybody was. And I come to find out it wasn't the case, that people judged others by the meat suit, what they see on the outside. So that has been a bit of a challenge for me in terms of being able to distinguish what I'm seeing and hearing on the inside of a person versus what I'm seeing on the outside, because a lot of times I hear one thing or I see one thing on the inside and the behavior does not match, and there's this contradiction, and Drake knows all about contradictions. So
well,
it's
contradicting my contradictions.
So that's been a real.
What's all this hubbub about? How come is everybody talking about me? Jeez, I thought it was about Tommy. Tommy and his mommy.
Well, Drake started with the contradictions. That's where I started listening to Drake and getting annoyed with his constant interrupting and the contradictions and the going off on
constant interruption. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You had the honor of listening to the great Drake case. It's done, RA1.
Contradicting Thomas and interrupting and never letting him finish a sentence, which that was Drakey cakes all over. But you know, back to my journey, a lot of what I write about now are things that I learned from my childhood. And this platform that you've created has given me the opportunity to bring forth a lot of the things that my dad taught me. And I've found myself in the last year bringing a lot of that out, because he used to tell me about this time, and I think if my dad was still alive, he would be very proud of what we've created and what you've created and where humanity is going, because he was a very big humanitarian. And it was always his dream to have his vision, his dream, his goal, his wish that humanity would pull itself together. And this is what he's taught me. And in spite of all the distractions and trolling and interruptions and silliness that has gone on for the past couple of years, of being targeted in all manners of silly ways, you've always said to me, don't let anybody take you off your path. And I said, no one will, because I'm hardwired, and I really am hardwired. What I've come to appreciate and understand about myself being hardwired is I go back to that childhood. And a lot of the times when I put these little gifs up about the inner child laughing, that's just my inner child laughing, because it takes me back to that part of my childhood where my dad was grooming me, and I was not really aware of him grooming me. I thought everybody's parents treated them that way. And so it was heartbreaking for me to realize and learn and come across the many people who were abused to the nth degree, that it blew me away. And so I figured, okay, my first instinct is always to run. I'm like, no, Ramona, how did you get us into this place again of wanting to, help others? Well, because that's just how I'm made. So I just want to run. But being in this setting with so many other like minds and kindred spirits on this path, I stay. And I said, no, I won't. My dad would not ever agree with me running from a challenge. And I don't want to run from a challenge, because this is bigger than all of us. And I will not feel right with myself, and I would not be able to sleep with myself or live with myself to have missed the opportunity to do something constructive and make my contribution. So I had to do a deep dive and find out what is that one thing that I can do that will add to this journey. And I had to go back to my childhood, and I sat under a tree many days, sat under a tree and wished that I could be a writer. And I didn't want to do that either. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, because then people will feel as if I'm being a bully. They will get upset at the way I say things. So I had to learn how to soften a lot of words. And yes, a lot of times I push the narratives, and I push really hard because I know the other side. I know what they do. I know what they say. I hear what they say. I read what they say. And so when you hear and see and read some of what is on the other side, I'm unapologetic for the way I present certain things at times, because I know we have to be tough and we have to speak up and we have to hunker down and make our voices be heard. And so I'm unapologetic because I know they read it and they need to know that we're not backing down. I'm not backing down, and I really would hope to bring that message to each and every member, regardless of if they're a troll or not, or they're a spy or not. I could give a rat's ass who they are. Maybe we can change them into thinking that, hey, maybe there is something to all of this. So the words go out far and wide, and it will touch whoever it needs to touch, whenever it needs to touch, wherever it needs to touch them, because eventually we have to finish this battle. We didn't start it, but by George, we will finish it. And that is my father's deepest wish that I carry in the deepest part of my soul. I'm not backing down. I'm not walking away. And that's the end of that. So thank you for creating this platform that gives me the opportunity to be the big mouth that I am. And that's not going to stop either.
Oh,
so thank you all. Thanks everyone for, helping and being there. Because I know they read it, and I'm glad.
Yes, they read all right, and then they copy and paste.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Yes. Where should we go next? Russell, you prepare yourself. I know you're, but we're going to go with Roger Isaacs next.
Hey everyone. First, I just want to say thanks to everybody speaking this morning. From Jason, very inspirational words. Definitely resonate with me, a lot of what you said. Glenn, love your humor, and I love the light that you shine right now. So I appreciate what everybody has said. I'm going to try and summarize feelings. I mean, I've lived a life. It's been a good life. I grew up in the southwest of England by the ocean. I've never really had to worry about any of the needs in life. My life was has been a struggle. I came from a broken family, and my childhood wasn't a happy childhood. It was emotionally abusive and left me in a state of a lack of self-worth. I think, Jason, you talked about. And so when I left home at 16, I joined the military, I joined the Royal Air Force. I just needed to get the heck out of Dodge. And I just wanted to get on with my life. And when I saw pictures of guys standing in front of jet airplanes, I figured that's how I'm going to meet the ladies. So that's what I'm going to do. It wasn't for any altruistic reasons. However, I grew up in that environment, and I was very fortunate. I had very good teachers, very good leaders that guided me in that process. And I started to tap into my strengths that I had buried deep within me. I'm good at putting walls around myself to protect myself. I'm very good at that. I don't want to show people my vulnerabilities. So I can build a castle, and I can stand in that castle, and you won't get close to me, and I can survive. But rolling the clock forward, as I got involved with THI over the last couple of years, I realized that that's one way to live your life, and you can survive like that. But perhaps there's a better way. And, with THI, there's three things that really have stood out for me, and that will lead into this year and the message I want to share. And Thomas has reminded me this many times, and he phoned me recently, and he said, stop doubting yourself. Everything that was going on inside you was real. Stop doubting that. And it mirrors what my Aikido teacher's been teaching for many years, is you have to believe in yourself first. And my struggle my whole life has been is I know that there is a good, strong person inside of me. And, you know, I've always felt I've had a greater purpose in life, but I was always afraid to step out and speak my mind. If people challenge me, I would just kind of back down and keep the peace. And I've realized that has to stop. I've always been pushed into leadership positions in my life. Whenever organization I've been involved in, somehow I just wind up in a leadership position, and it's not necessarily by choice. It's just that nobody else is doing it. And one of those people is, well, I might as well just do it because they're just going to screw it up. So somebody should just step up, and I'll do that. And I've been running a nonprofit for 30 years now. And it started with a few of us. The originator of that organization quit a couple of years in, and I was left with some mats for training Aikido, a location, and nobody else. And so, you know, when you start something where you walk in, you set up an environment to learn and train, and nobody shows up, and then you put everything away and go home, that takes a certain amount of persistence, and I would say stubborn, not belief in yourself, more stubborn to keep going, because I saw something, I found something that I wanted, I believed in, and I needed to develop. And I've grown it out from that, and 30 years later, I have at least 10 instructors under me. I've got about 130 to 150 students. And we've got a really strong organization, and that'll lead me into my next thing is, you know, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What THA has taught me in the last couple of years, it's enabled me to go deep, to find my foundation, like Jason was saying. It's helped me peel back the layers of lies and delusions that I've been fed my whole life, to find out what truth is, what my heritage is. And I've done some research, and it potentially goes back Southeast Wales 1, 2, maybe 3,000 years, because those people have been there a long time. And then they go back into Troy, Middle East, the Rus. I haven't connected all those dots yet, but I know there's a long heritage there. And it's enabled me to step up and accept that. So the second thing Thomas taught me was if you feel like you don't fit in, that's okay. You're not here to fit in. You're here to create the new world. You're here to create a better world. And my whole life, I've never fit in. I've always felt I've marched the beat of my own drum. I've always swum upstream instead of downstream. And it's not easy, as a lot of you guys are saying, but because I'm stubborn, I learned not to really just give a rip. I'm just going to do my thing, and that's fine. And so that turned into a real strength for me. And as we went through 2020, what's been coming at me this year is stop doubting yourself, like I just said. When you know something's right, stand your ground, be sovereign, and trust. And trust in that higher power that we're all a part of, that's inside all of us. And, you know, if that's going to cause conflict or upset around you, that's okay, so long as you're not out, so long as what you're doing benefits all concerned. There was an analogy my teacher used the other week. He said, when the tide comes in, all the boats rise together. And so I felt that you don't have to agree with each other. You don't always have to like each other. So long as you're committed in purpose and principle, and so long as all the boats rise together, everybody benefits, you actually can move forward, and people start to see, even if they struggle at first, that this is the right thing to do, this is the right direction, and they'll start to support you. And I think Thomas has been an excellent example of that, and has been an inspiration to me in that regard. And so I find myself now, you know, I've had some major insights come to me in the last few months. I've had some incredible dreams. I was just put a post on THA Canada. Before we jumped on, I was sitting on my deck, listening to Pink Floyd. I was just staring at the blue sky, something nice to do, and there's all these light particles whizzing around me. And I don't know if they're nano travelers, as I'm reading about. I don't know if that's just creativity, light just flashing around me, but there they were, and I just stared at them, and it was like an incredible moment where I just went, wow.
Source energy.
Sorry?
Source energy in action.
Thanks, Thomas. And so, yeah, my awareness is greater than it was, I hope. I'm trusting my intuition more. THA Canada, when we set that up, helped me move from doubting myself, getting more and more trust in my intuition, like Jason said. And that's been one of the biggest things for me, is to understand the inner world is real. We are multidimensional. We can influence things in ways we do not understand, and I still do not understand. But I see the results in the world around me. And, I'm learning that obviously we create, what we put out comes back to us. We create our reality. How we respond to things is critical. Bad things happen. We're all going to have negative thoughts. We're all going to have self-doubt and difficult times. The issue isn't, are we going to have those? The issue is, how do we respond to that? And how do we become better human beings and grow through that process so it becomes a transformative process? We integrate, like Thomas and others, we talk about the light and the dark, and we find that balance. And I found that, there is peace of mind. Peace of mind is a gift. When you find that balance, you can have peace of mind in any situation. We're going to lose it. The question is how quickly we get back on track. And stay true to purpose, stay true to self, and create the reality now. I've learned to let the past go. That's held me back too long. And I realized that, what? Our eyes are in the front of our head. They're not in the back of our head. There's a reason for that. We live 100% now in the moment. We look to tomorrow. And if Source connects with the future, we will get there and we will achieve. And I just feel that whatever insanity is going on in the world right now, I'm actually ignoring it now. It's not relevant. It's there. I'm aware of it, but it's not going to distract me. And if my direction suddenly has to turn left, turn right, go up, go down, that's okay. We can adapt. We can change. There's always a positive path forward. That's another major lesson for me. There's plus and minus in everything. There's always a positive way forward. And if you stay calm and in balance, you can find it. And then when two or more people start working together in purpose and in principle, the power is exponentially greater. It's not doubled, it's exponential. And so, I'll close with saying hi to THI Canada group and Russell and Edmonton there. I love all of you. We've built a solid family. We've been meeting weekly now, for when did we start? This was April, May 2019. We've had rich conversations. I found a group of people that are equally as crazy as me. And I can speak about equally crazy things, and nobody looks at me and thinks, what an idiot. And that's been really important. And an interesting outcome is my elder brother, who's in Toronto, we grew up together in England. We've been like chalk and cheese our whole life. If I say white, he says black. And, Thomas will be familiar with this. Sarcasm rules, especially in English humor. And so there's a lot of sarcasm between how he would respond to me, and that used to drag me down because he's my big brother. And so he was very influential on me. Now, at the beginning of the whole COVID thing up here, I refused to lock down. I just went out, got on with my life, kept doing things. And my brother was yelling at me down the phone, telling me that I am actively spreading COVID and it's all my fault. He was quite serious about this. I'm like, wow, really? I had a conversation a week ago, and he's starting to question the narrative. He says, this is crazy. This BLM stuff's crazy. The Ontario government's crazy. Wearing masks is crazy. What's going on with the economy? And I was like, stopped and shunned, as they say. And he said, yeah, I know. I thought you've always been a bit of a nut job, but so there is hope. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've been rambling on a bit. That's what I want to share.
Well, that's fine.
Okay, thanks, Thomas. Thanks for giving me some time.
No, it's all about, I've watched your progression over the past 6 to 8, particularly in the last 6 to 8 months. And that's where I get my kicks, seeing people change the way they think, change the way they act, and also the way they be, and then we can take it forward. Lots of us now who have been shunned from society, like lepers, because we're quote unquote conspiracy theorists, when they find out the conspiracy theorists were right all along. And what we're going to be in demand. And I'm getting messages from many members now that either friends, partners, loved ones, work colleagues are now starting to ask you all questions. This is our time. This is what we've prepared for with the THI. I've said all along, like the TPC. TPC is not about pieces of paper with numbers on. The TPC is a teaching program of how to be and how to go forward. And so, you know, each and every one of you is going to be in demand. Some of you already are. Answering the questions from the sleepers, as we call them, and more are waking up. It's our time. They're losing the narrative badly, real badly. The very fact that they have to employ fact checkers to try and discredit us says it all. That tells you they're losing the narrative. More and more people are switching off the news, which is news from their world, certainly not from our world, because it's rubbish. And seeking out shows like ours. You know, our show is not for everyone. It's a lot more advanced than other shows, as you all know. But we can still bring people in. Thanks for
that. One quick closing remark, Thomas.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, so I feel like I'm standing on the cusp now of incredible optimism. I see a bright future that we can create, and, you know, we can help more people, as Thomas is saying. And so I feel like my whole life has prepared me for this. And I feel like I finally know who I am, what I am, why I am here, and what my mission is. So I want to say thank you from here, Thomas, and to THI, everybody here that I've interacted with, and the THI Canada group, thank you.
Well, thank you. Russell.
Yes, Thomas.
Hi, Gina.
Hi, darling. I just want to say thank you because you have been able to do it at personal sacrifice. And when I was feeling sorry for myself the other day, that after 20 years of doing it on my own, I found this amazing partner, I thought, and then I had to choose between him and your teachings, which are our teachings, and I actually managed to choose our teachings. I'm still sad. I'm still sad, but I feel it's the right thing to do.
Yes, it is.
Because of the weekly shows, it sort of keeps me strong. And even though I sound a bit weak at the moment, usually having listened to you, it all comes right again. And thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Gina. This is a common theme, and, you know, all of us have gone through fairly brutal sacrifices in many ways, because we've been shunned, and people didn't believe us. But as I keep playing the song recently, our time will come. We're in that time. We're in that time. I said back in 2015, 16, 2020, we will see. And we are. Many of us are. And some of these choices are fairly brutal. You know, this year alone, Randy Morgan's decided to sail a different path. Shane also. And also Kim, which upset many in the group. But as long as we stay on our path, there's no saying those people may not swing round and come back. The door's always open to all of them. And that's important, that, you know, that we don't cut people off. You know, I've let many people back in the group. Some have been fairly abusive to me, but they put the hand up. That's all it takes. Just put your hand up. You know, we all make mistakes in life, none more than me. But the key is, do you learn from them? It's a lesson to be learned, so you don't repeat, you know, that lesson again. And then once you learn from it, that lesson goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key thing. Russell.
I'll go ahead.
You're on mute, Russell.
Oh, sorry. Shy and quiet. Sorry about that.
What you've just a small introduction. you've overcome many personal hurdles, including pharmaceutical issues, not through your own fault and not through addiction either. And you've managed to step away from it all and really come into your own. And I'm proud of you.
Thanks. Proud of me too. Not in an ego way.
Yeah.
But wow, that's tough to follow. But okay. Wow. I'm a terrible public speaker, but I'll give it a go here. I spent many second summers visiting England as like 6-year-old boy, and I had so many family members that I would visit there in the summer, and they're basically, my cousins are your age. Karen is 60 and the twins are 62, so all of my families, I would visit them. I thought that was normal. Visiting, Windsor Castle, British Museum, I thought that's what every child did. And I didn't realize that that was pretty exceptional because my family lived there, so I would go there. And that kind of led to a life of travel. When I was 16, I was on a German student exchange. I lived in a small town between Kassel and Frankfurt am Main, and was an incredible experience. I visited East Berlin as a communist country, and still have wonderful memories. And when you talk in your shows, your history is so experiential for me because I lived there. In '93, I went to study in Vienna, and the Habsburg world is a different world altogether. At one point, I had actually hit with one of the Liechtenstein family members, Alfred, and I don't know how you end up mating people like that, but in the world of tennis, which I've been playing since I was an 11-year-old, it opens doors because, my world was, probably lower to middle class, and then you end up hanging out with people like that. It's unbelievable. So some of these things in my life I've been afforded experience just because of a sport that I loved. It was something I shared with my father. He played as a youngster, and I found his racket in the basement, and I picked it up, and I've loved it ever since. So through all of my hardships, I've always had tennis, and it's wonderful because I can zone out and I just feel better with myself, and no one's bothering me. I just enjoy it so much. And when I hit dust the cover off a ball, oof, that takes out some frustrations. Boy, the hitting wall is my favorite thing. So you're alone with yourself, and it always beats you. So it's always something good.
Yes, the tennis ball becomes the THI hammer, does it not?
It does. It does. And actually, you helped with that. I knew with all the knowledge you gave us that this year, tennis last year was the last year of Grand Slams. So I said goodbye. Every time there was an event, I would say, okay, well, enjoy it because this probably will be the last. So THI has given me great ability to cope with the outside world. I've gone pretty insular this last maybe 6-7 years because I knew things were really wrong, and I have to back up. 2007, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I had 10 months to live. I was on some pretty harsh medication. I needed neutropenia medication, which was a $5,000 shot every week because I had such low neutrophils that a common cold would probably wipe me out. So I went through a 1.5 years of really painful chemo. It was a colony-stimulating factor called Neulasta, and it would give you bone cells, blood cells, hair, anything that would grow 4 times faster. So I didn't know that the bone pain could be that excruciating, and I was on opioids, oxycodone and Supidol for almost 1.5 years, not knowing how addictive those were. And I needed a pill to sleep. I needed a pill for anxiety. I needed this and that. And I was practically a Boots chemist. I knew more than most of the pharmacy people, so that's pretty funny. But I also realized I thought those people were gods. The doctors were saving my life. I saved my life. Sorry. It's hard.
Yes, you did. And you should be proud of yourself.
90% of survival is the will to live and the positive energy and attitude you have. 10% is pharmaceuticals. But this is why your show is so... I've lived most of these experiences that you talk about. And when I hear about Harold's wonderful machine, I could have used that and not had to go through what I did, but so happy because I know that you can survive and thrive, and that's the difference. I was able to take myself off of painkillers, some really terrible benzodiazepines, which are highly addictive, and I felt numb to the world because I was on so many medications, so sick, really close to death, but I ended up changing everything, and I don't feel that anymore. I was numb, and now I'm alive because I'm off of medication. You guys can do it too, because when I hear that they're all poisons, they are. They poison your mind, they poison your energy. You don't know how to be happy. And THI, I'm happy every day, all day, and because I know that what I went through in my life was to lead me to this point. I didn't understand why I had all those experiences. Why did I meet these people? Why did I go through those painful medications and, problems? But this made me realize that it was all to lead to this point. And I know it's a bit emotional, and I have always been my whole life emotional, but I feel things, and now I'm just happy because every show is so powerful. I get confirmations of why this happened, what was going on, what I was experiencing was real, and it's just wonderful every day because the most important relationship you have is the one you have with yourself. You are always with yourself. You are always with your own thoughts. And that person you need to love. And all you asked me, Tom, is just to be more myself. And I am that every day. And it's wonderful because I found a group of people who've had similar life experiences, although different. We come together, and it's wonderful to find you all. I don't particularly know why, but this feels like home. So I just wanted to say to the ones who have hurt me and helped me, even in this group, I'm better for your attention and also your derision. So it's okay. I'm happy, and I don't need anything to define who I am. I am me, and that's the best thing ever. So I'm just really happy. So thank you.
Thank you, Russell. I know it's been a difficult journey, but this, like I said, the reason we're doing this is to show how people have overcome their fears, like Sir Roger, and Jason and Russell, and also pharmaceuticals, and people have overcome alcohol. We're working with some people now who are having difficulty with alcohol. And this is what it's all about, that we can lift each other. It's not all about me, it never was. It's about lifting each other. Russell's worked hard on himself and had some fairly hefty trials and come through the other side. And that's the idea behind this group, is we all have gone through different aspects of life, different struggles, different trials and tribulations, different experiences, and some really strange experiences. I'm sure you'll all nod in agreement with that. And to then be able to create the platform, which is what we've done with THI, of a safe zone where people can come and speak freely which they can't do in the other world. And kudos to Russell. The next one wants to speak on stepping away from religion, and we've had a few on that. Darlene.
I think I'm unmuted, is that right?
Yes, we can hear you, Darlene.
Yes, back in February, I told you my story about stepping away from currently the, as you call it, Episcopal, but we call it Episcopal Church.
It's okay.
I'll try to condense this as much as I can. Starting at age 6, when I went to Catholic school, I knew there was something dreadfully wrong with the whole scenario. I couldn't understand as a child why we were all there in the month of May singing in a foreign language, Latin, to a statue of Mary. And I had problems with the Catholic Church all through my life. I even, as a child, kind of told on priest because he put me down in the confessional, but that's a whole other thing. So I stepped away from that and always looking for source, God, outside myself. I went through Methodist, of course, Episcopal, cults, you name it. I was looking everywhere. And obviously, the one place I didn't look, which was inside myself, I finally figured that out with the help of you, Thomas. And in February, just before all this crazy COVID, in quotes, hit, I retired from my choral conducting position in the Episcopal Church. I could no longer, I loved the people so much, and I loved being a church musician because I loved music, but I couldn't, in good conscience, even try to teach those people lies. And when you said LORD in caps, I said, I've seen that somewhere before. And I looked up in the Book of Common Prayer, and there it was. Big letters. And now, obviously, I know who the Lord is. And that changed my life, Thomas. I mean, I was always looking, never been able to quite find it. And I'm very peaceful with myself now. And, I still hear from, some of the people that were in my choir, but, I couldn't go along with it. And I just want to thank you, Thomas, because it changed my life. I mean, it was I'm 67, so it was my livelihood along with my meager Social Security. And a member who I've been friends with for 30 some years, who introduced me to your group, allowed me to live with her and her husband. And now I can survive on my Social Security and lots of loving people. So that's about all I have to say. And but I'm very grateful. And you've been the pinnacle of truth. It resonated with me. There was a lot of things along the way. I could go on, but I won't. And you managed to take what I knew and what I discovered for all these years and put all the puzzle pieces together, especially the From Russia with Love. That was just extraordinary. We all the time, and I re-listen to them, and Thomas, thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all listening. Source be with you all.
Thank you, Darlene. We will have another member come on who's working currently, who also stepped away from religion and cult. Religion's the most difficult thing to approach. And I pondered as well, pondered long and hard how to approach the religious aspect, and I think I did a good job by stair-stepping it and producing the evidence, and more of it comes out. There was a piece in the last show, and I remember talking to somebody who had been involved heavily in religion, and they turned around to me and says, but the church is doing lots of good things. And I said, no, you're looking at it wrong. The people in the church are what does the good things, not the church itself. And that was like a dawning moment for that person. You can still do good things with the people, but outside of the church, you never needed the church. It's an external thing. And we also found out it's a looshing of energy. The energy belongs to you, all of you, not them and their dark forces. And so I'm pleased that you took that step, and I'm glad that you not only took that step, but are comfortable in that step as well. So that's the difficult thing when you bring up religion, the whole thing is a program of looshing energy and lies and deception. And you're not praying with an A, you're being preyed on with an E. And I think that stuck with a lot of people. The religious thing is going to be the biggest disclosure, which will then lead to the ET disclosure, because the two are not separate, they are one and the same. And this is what you've all found out within our shows. Michelle, our TPC director, ambassador to ambassador to see the point.
That's okay. That'll do. That'll do.
Cat police. How has THI changed you? No.
Well, I have a line of clothing now that says Thomas was right about cat names. And you've ruined my whole life. I just want to thank you for that on all levels. I had a blast doing an evening with Thomas with you a year ago now, a little over a year ago. But you helped me make sense of things I had known and seen my whole life. And I mean that on all levels. When I was a kid, about 6 or 7 years old, Ford Motor Company. I grew up in the Cleveland area of Ohio, Mistake-on-the-Lake, and some people at Ford Motor Company thought my father knew more about what was going on than what was going on. It was a scam being done to force men to retire so they wouldn't have to pay out on their retirement and things like that. And long story short, my father came home from work suddenly in a cab, and some people were going to kill him that night after work. So he went to the police and filed a report, and then the policeman came to our house, and I as a little kid, distinctly remember standing to one side because nobody notices little kids, and the policeman saying, Mr. Hansack, I'm here to ask you to remove these possible suspects' names if anything happens to you. They've asked me to approach you about that, and the policeman said, but frankly, if you ever take their names off, you will be a dead man. So they did the typical, which I see what they've tried with you and with a lot of people. They tried to kill my father, and that didn't work. So then a couple weeks later, the family physician called and in his thick Hungarian accent said, "Oh, some people, I'm just calling to tell you some people called and asked me to diagnose you as paranoid." And I told them I'm a family physician, not a psychiatrist, and I refuse to do that, but I want you to know. And so then they blackballed my father so he couldn't get a job to save his soul. So it was by my grandparents' grace that got us through that because there was very limited money. But, you know, things like that never made sense. And I, as a little kid, could feel the eyes of the predator. And I see things. I've had a lot of spontaneous past life remembrances. So you've given me a context, and you've triggered me mightily, and you know you do that. But the beautiful thing is when you do trigger people, you never leave us hanging out to dry. You're always there to process with. And so are many of the members of the group. And I just want to thank the group. I want to thank you for giving us a platform to come together, realizing we're all the same frequency and spiritual group. I want to thank you for giving us that opportunity. And I want to thank everybody who has allowed me to support them, because I thought I was retired. I have a master's degree in counseling and human development with a mental health specialization. I'm an expert, you know. And I've always approached, I've always approached the counseling and had to write things very cautiously because I've always done clearing and that kind of work, dealing with adults with anger management. Both sides. I've worked both sides of the domestic violence field, with women in the shelters and with all male court-ordered domestic violence perpetrators, and with kids in addictions with dual diagnosis, really rough populations. I have some broken teeth from taking a kick in the head because I kept the kid from kicking one of the milieu staff. So I've had some fun, interesting experiences, but you've helped me understand what I was seeing with all of that and validate what I knew to be true and what I was doing was correct, and getting back to the opportunities to support people in the group. I want to thank everybody, because one of my domestic violence guys challenged me one Friday night in the group and said, you know, you're a white woman, you're a professional, you're well educated. What can you teach me about anger? And you heard the inhale of all the other guys. And I looked at him really quietly and said, it has been suggested that we all teach that which we most need to learn. And that's why I want to thank everybody for allowing me to support them, because I get so much more than I give. And that, to me, is powerful. You have no idea. THI members, you have no idea how much you've gifted me and in allowing me to support. I've gotten so much more, and it never would have happened without this platform that Thomas has provided us all. And it's been a very interesting childhood and adulthood on a medical level. And I realize now that a lot of those medical things were targeting. I remember, night terrors and those nasty little things harvesting my eggs and trying to get me to nurture these horrible, freakish hybrids, things like that. And it's made me, I knew I was saying things, but it's given me context of what was really going on behind it all. So I just am grateful for the opportunity to be able to support other people in that. If anybody wants to know a little more about me, there is that little Evening with Thomas show. If you can make it through the laughter, which I know maybe my humor might upset a lot of people, but you have to realize my viewpoint on humor, and I'd like to take the opportunity to clarify that. Because, don't give me that eyebrow crap, Mr. Williams. You and Glenn lead me down that rosy path, and they think it's all my fault, and it's really you guys, because I won't own it. Yes, no. No. I knew you were going to say that. No.
Me?
No. But the way I look just at humor so people understand, it's blowing up the algorithms. AI and computers cannot do humor, because if you noticed how Tommy and Glenn and Lee and I do some of that humor, we kind of pinball all over the place. One person says something, but before you can get that GIF out there, we've already gone on to something totally different. It's changes the frequencies in the group, it uplifts, and it totally changes the algorithms and thinking patterns. It's a good mental workout for me and others, I think, in reading it, which is huge that way. But it also changes a lot of algorithms, just so people understand where I'm coming. I act like an idiot, but really a lot of times there is madness, but there is method, if I might quote Shakespeare on that. So there is madness, but there is method.
Good.
So that's all I want to say, Tommy. Thank you for the opportunity to address everybody and the opportunity to thank you for the platform, and thank everybody for supporting me and supporting you. It's all the same. Yeah. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm done.
Where do we go next? Let's get some of our younger members in. Senja.
Did I just hear my name, boss?
Yep.
Oh, so, wow. So much has already been said so well by everybody else right out of the gates. I mean, I think that with all of us, we all connect to that space of finding our family. And I don't want to take a lot of time, but I just have to tell everybody some things that have really stood out to me and express some of the changes that have happened to me. That was a quest, right? Like, what have we gained? It's not all about what we've lost. But I have to tell you right out of the gates, I'm happy to talk about what I lost, everybody. The truth is, I lost the need to wear a mask. I lost the need to hide who I was. I lost the need to pretend. I lost the need to numb my feelings. I lost the feeling of being alone. I lost the need to fake it. I think like so many people, we know this thing in us, and it's killing us not to share it. And to me, THI was that opportunity for me to lose all that excess baggage, to lose all of those lies and masks and the fear that was holding me back. Losing the fear that was holding me back was enormous. And so I really actually value all those lies and all that I lost. I'm glad I lost it. It's super important to me because I couldn't move forward without dropping all that baggage. So the opportunity to find a group of folks who maybe we don't always see eye to eye, but they were there to support me, and they were there to understand me, and they were there to be there when I failed and help pick me up. Because the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people have failed way more. They get up and they go for it, and they go for it, and they go for it, and sometimes you fall down. And I'll tell you something. Here at THI, as much as I always wanted to bring positivity and goodness and just do everything just right, I haven't. And I have paved roads halfway to hell with my good intentions, and had Thomas there and Michelle there and people to go, correct, Zinja, correct, and correct me. And what would I be without that, right? I can't do this myself. And so I couldn't fail with a better group of people. I couldn't wake up and try to build something new with a better group of people who all want the same thing. And I think that's super, super huge, because this group of folks helped me find my infinity, right? They helped me find my true passion. And those dreams I always had as a kid, I think we all share this. We dream of building new villages and building a new world, a place where we're all together like a real family. But we dream this alone, right? And not that we need the external validation, but we need each other to get the job done. And there are millions of people in this world, fam, millions, who've never had someone look them in the face and tell them that they're beautiful. They've never had someone look them in the face and tell them that they're worthwhile, that they count, that they matter, that they're enough. Okay? And without that, you don't have anything. Right? You have to believe in yourself. And so this group of folks that Thomas put together, that he inspired, is a group of people that that really, really help one another cultivate that, And so I think that's really the hugest thing, is that opportunity to have people around who really get each other's back. And so ultimately, this is what it's about, because we all know it's not about paper, right? If all the funds, if all the money in the world burnt up and there was no gold left, guess what, fam? We could still do it because we have each other, right? And this is what it really is. It's like I have David in my life, and I have Mary, you know what I mean? And I have Leslie, and there's Thomas, and there's Ramona, and all these amazing people who, if I have a question and I need help because I want to build something new and beautiful, I have that support group now that I didn't have before. And so, we all do. And so that's really from the bottom of my heart, I just want to offer thanks to everybody who was there to help me go through that awkward spiritual puberty and that I'm still going through, and learn. So that's really it. I want to say though, to make it short, because when Thomas told me that, when I heard this call was happening, I just felt like writing a book about it, but I have a tendency to talk too much, so I'm trying to rein that in. Thanks to everyone who's put up with that for over the years. But I wanted to say that really one of the most important things that happened to me was, I'll just finish maybe with a little story about how it happened. Try to keep it brief. I grew up in a lot of strange circumstances and had a lot of pain. And I'm not smart like you guys. I didn't figure this all out and put the pieces together. Okay, I spent 20 years inside the SSP. So I saw it firsthand, and it was the feeling that you carry your whole life. You can't talk about it. It's horrible. You don't even want to think about what you saw, what you went through. But the trauma that was living in me was ruining me. It was just like I had a pit in my stomach, a darkness, an anger that I couldn't let go of. I wanted vengeance against the Draco. I wanted vengeance against, all the factions. I was just an angry, angry person in a lot of ways. And I'll tell you something, THI allowed me to lose that and approach the future with a sense of love and a sense of hope and a sense of kindness that I never really had before. I didn't have that hope. I didn't think it was possible. I'd seen these guys, right, face to face. I thought we can't do anything. I was a hopeless guy. And it'll make you really sad. It'll make you really suicidal and a lot of that stuff. But when I heard Thomas' voice on the radio, here's what happened. Again, I'm wrapping it here. I was at my wit's end, and I was having one of those days where I was so in pain, and I was so frustrated with the fact that none of my real dreams could come true, that the world was so broken and I couldn't fix it. And I was just depressed, and I was all alone. And I'll never forget this day. It was magical, in a good way. I was just, I was moved to tears. I was broken, and I just did something I never do. And I just threw my hands out, and I just yelled out to the universe, right? Basically like a prayer. Where are my people at? I'm alone. Where are my people? Right? I needed my family. And I just shouted it with just tears in my eyes and my heart just on fire. And I just felt broken. And I just threw that prayer essentially out, that intention out to the universe. And I just collapsed in the couch. And then it is the second thing I never do. And I turned on YouTube. I never watched TV. I never surfed the internet. And I just ugh. And I just thought, no one's going to answer. Nothing's going to happen. I'm just, again, venting. And then when I turned on YouTube, there was Lucid Dreamer. and it said Intel with Thomas Williams. And I was like, yeah, right. Intel, I'm sure of that. Because, there is no truth on YouTube. There's nothing out there. And when I heard his voice, that was the first time I realized, wait a minute, I do have a family. It sounded like a long-lost brother talking to me, who'd seen more than I had, who'd been there, and who knew that even though he didn't know who I was, he knew that his voice needed to be there for others to find. And so I'm just eternally thankful that I reached a point of frustration with the past, and that Thomas had put together this group to give me a space to learn and grow, and also help share, just like Michelle said. And that anger is gone now. And I think to make time, I want to just say that love, I can't thank you enough, Thomas, and I can't thank you enough, group, for giving me the opportunity to let go of the anger and turn that darkness, like Glenn was talking about, take that darkness and use it for good. Take what I've learned, and instead of being mad about it and making me smaller than I am and more afraid than I am, to take that and learn from it and give me the strength to reach out and help others, just like Michelle said. And I learned too that if we don't have that love in our heart, we'll never make it. We'll never get through this. We don't get through with anger. We get through it with grace and peace in our heart and a smile on our face, and that's our strength. Because you know how Thomas says, like, when the we becomes the I on the internal, right, and the I becomes the we on the external, then the path of the sword becomes available. But I want to finish with the way that let me give you my spin on it. Within all of us is a sword of truth, right? An Excalibur of sorts. But it has to be pulled from the stone of a softened heart. If we are not loving, right, we don't get it. And that love is our invincibility. That's why the dark is scared of us. We're not scared of them, because we have the invincible shield of love around us. So as we move forward with these amazing people in our lives and these incredible groups, I never want to forget that it's the joy and the presence in those human connections that are the most valuable. And so thank you to Ramona for sending me hug emojis. Thank you for Michelle for being there to correct me. Thank you, Amy and Nicholas, for inspiring me and making the calls. Thank you, Thomas, for, don't even get me started, right? David for being there in the admin, and everybody who is really, for Mary, who has on our new website is going to be offering opportunities for people to go through the Muscleation series with her. So you're not listening to them on your own. So you can come to group. She's already done it once with a group of 4 people. Come to THI Oregon, and Mary will go through once a week. She'll go through the shows with you. And so for new folks, new members, they can do that. 101 beautiful acts of goodness and kindness are happening because of what Thomas started. And that day I heard his voice, and the opportunity to give back gives my life meaning and gives my kids the right example. Because if I tell my kids, I thought I said I was wrapping this up. If I tell my kids you can do anything, but I don't go do anything, if I tell my kids, well, you can do whatever you want, but I don't go do that thing, then I'm just sitting on the couch and I'm a jackass, right? I have to go do the thing. I have to show them that. And so without THI, thank you, Thomas, I wouldn't have been able to build my real dream and dream my biggest dreams. And so I was dreaming small ones. And so I'm a big dreamer, and so are my kids, and it's a beautiful thing. And so we can reteach them what it means to be human, right? Reteach and show them that example. So I think I'm a better dad. I think I'm just a better guy for having had the opportunity to make mistakes around all of you amazing people. So if you ever want to reach out, THI Oregon is doing it. If you want to teach some Aikido, we're going to be doing free family self-defense lessons, things like that. Join us, right? I would love to get THI Canada's input on that. Anything. We want to work together to grow this thing. So my love is with you all the time. And thank you again, Thomas, brother. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you, check this out. I'm not just here because I want to get stuff from you and learn, okay? right? I'm also here because I want you, Thomas, to have a dance party. I want you to help me go pick out a TPC dog. We need to pick out the people's dog, right? When it's safe. Not only that, check it out. You know I got you some socks, right, bro? Look at that. There it is.
Great stuff.
So love from Oregon, and thank you for just changing my life and giving me the opportunity to feel what life can really be like as a real human and not a mask-wearing chucklehead. So,
thanks, Senja. Great stuff. Alan S., I think it's Alan Smart, has got his hand up. Where are we? Is he on mute? You're on mute, Alan. There you go.
Sorry, mate. It's the first time I've been on Zoom. I'm really humbled with listening to your show tonight. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm just going to read the letter which I sent to you, Thomas, because I don't know what to say. This is the letter from my soul to your soul and all the members of the Truth, Honor and Integrity. Thomas, you are always saying, don't wait for others to do it yourself. So here's my soul talking. My name is Alan Smart. I live in the northeast of England and I'm 70 years old, retired and a very ordinary person. I have no qualifications or experience in either science or medical matters. I have no financial involvement or any other reason for this letter apart from sharing this information for the sake of humanity. I have been a member for THI for a number of years, following your weekly broadcasts, learning all about our past history and how the human race has been manipulated for science for centuries. I would say I am very awake and aware of our present reality. I have also followed the teachings of Mr. Marion Kesh of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. I have found both yourself and Mr. Kesh to be very much alike in nature and soul in helping humanity. Both THI and KFSI have been suppressed and discriminated against by the deep state to prevent humanity knowing the truth about its history and what's going on this present time. Regarding the Kesh Foundation, the deep state has done all in its power to stop the introduction of a new form of science called plasma technology. You know, at the present time, the deep state is running the coronavirus program designed to get everyone in the state in a fear of panic, with the ultimate goal of getting everyone vaccinated and controlled. I think we all know that this virus is being misreported and being manipulated to achieve their aims. The truth is there are different viruses spread throughout the world, giving various degrees of deaths and contamination, but it is a very great threat to humanity. The Kesh Foundation is a worldwide and has access to both clinical and reliable information in many countries, especially in Iran, which is Mr. Kesh's home country. Through the close ties, the KFSI has been able to track the spread of this virus. The truth about this virus is it has manipulated into various strains and is attacking different parts of the body from the brain down to the toes. Roughly, there's about 27 strains. This has been scientifically verified by medical university doctors in Iran, and at present the information is being processed and released. The good news is that Mr. Kesh has produced a cure for all viruses through plasma technology, which each person all around the world can make in their own home to protect their families and their environment. To understand how this works, you need to understand the use of plasma. Initially, you need to understand the hidden science that your body actually consists of plasma fields. That is, are magnetic and gravitational field forces. When, for example, when you eat food, it breaks down into plasma fields inside your body to feed the individual areas within your body with different field strengths which are needed for you to support your body. All viruses are energy packs of a certain field strength, which attach to the body in different ways through your breathing and through physical contact, or on objects or people who have been infected. The other important bit of information is that in plasma technology, a higher field strength will always feed a lower field strength. The basis of this cure is that if you have a virus of a certain field strength and you use a plasma energy water, which can be sprayed on the outside of the body or even consumed, the lower field strength depletes the energy from the virus internally and eradicates the virus. If this water is sprayed outside, it also protects the environment, destroying the virus. Studies have shown by spraying hospital rooms, the infection rate can be reduced by as much as 60%. To make plasma water requires a large glass jar into which you hang from the top a plate of zinc, which you can get from a large battery, very accessible worldwide, a copper coil made from some electrical wire from an electrical appliance, and another copper coil which has been heated by a flame from a gas torch or a gas hob. This process on the copper changes its fields and is called nanocoating the material. The jar is then filled with a 15% salt solution and left to do its work. The interaction of the field forces of the metals with the magnetical and gravitational field forces of the planet and the air in the salt solution produces particles of GANs. This is like a fine salt mixture on the bottom of the jar, which can be in different colours depending on the nature of metals. GANs is an acronym created by Mr. Kesh that describes the new state of matter created from gas to nanosolid. The GANs material is then removed from the jar to another jar. This is a continuous process, producing GANs, then removal until you have sufficient GANs to start the process. The GANs is washed by putting the fresh water into jar and then removing the water after the particles of the GANs have settled on the bottom of the jar. This is done on a constant basis until the water has no taste of salt. The next process is the cleared GANs is placed in a large jar and filled with water. The GANs then transfers its energy to the water, making it into plasma water, which can be used to deplete the energy of the virus. The water is taken from the top of the jar and replaced on a regular basis when used. Don't ever consume the GANs because it's too much energy for the body. The fact is, anybody connecting to KFSI has been making and using GANs for their own protection and that of their families. The production method is called the One Cup, One Life, which was released back when China first got the virus to help the Chinese people. The Chinese government has used this technology since then, even using it to clean up Wuhan City. The irony of this is they did not give any accreditation to KFSI and restricted all medical information coming out of China. The good news, however, was Iran allowed the KFSI team to use the technology where they could and have allowed access to all their medical information. Using one of the best universities in Iran, KFSI has conducted tests to WHO standards on the effectiveness of plasma technology on the virus, which will be published shortly. showing 90% cure of all sick patients using the water from the gans. Thousands of Iranian families have been saved by this technology through KFSI members. The other information in this report advises that on the total unsuitability of vaccines against this virus due to the complexity of the different forms. No virus should ever need a vaccine when it can probably take less than 3 days to eliminate using plasma. This even includes winter flu. The release of this technology is essential for the progression of humanity. This is a new science, has so much to offer, very much like Tesla. This technology can take away the power of the pharmaceutical industry and place it back in the power of the people. Different fields affect different parts of the body, meaning the elimination of many illnesses from outside of the body, even the cure for cancers. The use of this technology can eradicate death from the lack of food, as I said earlier. The body is a plasmatic condition. If you supply fields of the correct strength, you don't need food. That means anyone can survive anywhere in the world, which negates the effect of the food shortages planned by the deep state as another form of control. This technology also has been used in food production, increasing food yields and eradication of the use of deadly chemicals to grow food. The ultimate goal of the FSSI is to bring world peace through technology, which is given on the open source information channel on YouTube on Thursdays, in English and in different languages each week. In this way, the progression of this technology is transmitted to every country on this planet, giving no preference to any nation. Trump and the European government have been given all this information, formally through diplomatic channels, for the cure of this virus. Up to now, they have decided not to act upon this information. I know, Thomas, your aim in life has to be expose our past history and injustices in the present system. The prevention of this technology being suppressed must be one of the most serious crimes in human history. To this aim, I ask you for your help in trying to get as much information about plasma technology to as many of your contacts and members of THI as possible. This knowledge could save your members' lives, ideally, if you could inform. Could you inform the Circle of White Light team, if possible, inform Kim to see if she is aware of the situation and see if she can expose this information on her news channel.
Will do.
And then I said, do your own research, Thomas. Yeah. And I'll give you a reference. The actual information is being released now, and that was the information I supplied to you.
Right.
So
thanks for that, Alan. It has been passed on.
Yeah.
I've been kind of busy. I've got 4 shows this week. This is the second, so I may look into it a bit more. But it's getting late over there in the UK, and Mum's getting tired, and she wants to say bye to everyone.
Right.
Good night, everybody. Nice listening to you all. Yeah. Stay safe. Good night. Good night. God bless.
Night.
Love you all.
Great to have you. Good night.
I love you. I love.
Bye, Mum.
Bye, Tommy.
Good night, Mum.
Good night, my love.
Ellen or Spark.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Never gone again. I don't know how to use the system.
No, that's okay. Just put it on mute, or I can mute.
Hey, Tommy.
Hi, Ellen.
Can you hear me?
Very loud. Yes.
Very loud? Okay, is that better?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, good. Oh boy. I hadn't planned on saying anything. And usually I'm never at a loss for words. I'm actually sitting here with my sea hippie friends. You know them as Sue and Justin. And I'm very grateful because we've had the opportunity for, let's see, when did I first meet you? When you first came on, and wow, we were just saying it seems like it's been a lifetime ago. We've shared a lot. We've done a lot together, all of us, and with you, Tommy, as well, personally. And definitely, my life has, I think we all have had the opportunities in our lives to create change. Some people have had those opportunities and they didn't use them for whatever choice. I was already on my own path. You guys all know I did my own radio show. Before that, I did regular radio. And I did my own thing. And my ego got in the way over time. And I had to let it go. And I met you, Tommy, through I did all of the New Age stuff. I did my own radio show, and my first thing, I paid for airtime. And on my first night doing airtime on AM radio in Clearwater, Florida, the first thing that I said was, turn the TV off, it's your enemy. And Rick Scott's a reptilian. When I got done the radio show, walked out to the parking lot, there were 3 cop cars sitting in the parking lot. So I knew I was on the right path. But I got a little lost. I think in a lot of us, as I'm listening to a lot of other people, we all were looking for something and someone and people to connect with. After I did that radio show and whatnot, I did my own stuff, and I was, I can tell lots of stories. I lived on about $2,000 a year for about 3 years. I was actually helping a friend at a church thrift shop, and in walked Justin and Sue, and I looked at him and started talking to him, and it was like we had traveled this road forever. Like we'd known each other long before that first day. And then I really started listening to you, and after a few listens, gave them the information also, and here we are. I have to say that we've been very grateful and very happy that we got a chance to help personally on a couple of occasions, and that has always been wonderful. I definitely have done my share of boo-boos. I definitely have changed my life on many levels. I have always felt and known that I was a powerful person. And I believe that this is probably the greatest struggle for every person. And as I'm listening to everybody talk today, everyone is sharing that similar mindset. What's happened is that you helped me refine that understanding for me, though I had it before. You gave me the opportunity to refine that so that I could use that and be the person that I'm here to be. And I really don't want to go yakking on because the bottom line is that you opened a door, and just in being yourself and just saying this is who I am, and then you shared a hell of a lot of information, which I'm so grateful for because I haven't watched regular TV since 2009 anyway. But I know that what I'm doing is the right thing. I know that no matter what anyone else outside of me says and tells me I'm nuts and I'm barking up the wrong tree, I know that's not real. I also know that I am the power. I know that, and I watch, I don't know how many people, and Russell, today you just touched my heart. Gina, you touched my heart. I mean, and that doesn't mean that everybody else who's spoken didn't either, but to be able to hear you and to be able to have the ability to sit and share our truths. And we know, first of all, that everybody's sitting here, and Sue's looking at me and she's nodding. And, you know, I mean, I've watched a metamorphosis amongst us all. We have our friend Anita, who lives just down the block or two. And then we have Judy and Myra, who live up north, who helped me out. And I was kind of stuck. I was out in the middle of nowhere in North Florida for a while in November. And we may be spread out all over the world, but we have this incredible camaraderie, and we have this, I think, unifying heart message and feeling and knowledge that, you know, we've been walking that same, I mean, we're like lined up in a row and we're walking parallelly together. We may have a little bit of a different story to share, but the bottom line is that we've been looking for ourselves. We've been looking for permission to know that we are the power that we are. And Tommy, you opened the door for me. You opened the door for everybody else. And the great part about it is you don't take what happened in the past and beat yourself up with it. And just like as we were saying not long ago, you know, it's done. Okay. Let's do it. It's done. Okay. Sorry. And we move on. And I think that this is the way we get to look forward to the future, because we can't take what's gone on in the past, whether it's within the group or those who are coming into the group or those who will eventually need us to help them be their truth. You can't connect and hold on to that past. You have to keep moving forward. And, you know, you've opened the doors, not just for myself. I'm watching and listening, and I'm very touched by everyone else who's sharing their truth. And I thank you for that. Thanks.
Thank you. It's I don't know how long we're going to go on, but what I would like to do is bring a few people in. Just put that on mute. If you can keep it brief now, I'm going to rapid fire a number of people. First, I want to start with Hilly and Daryl Hibbert.
Hi. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Hilly.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Well, about 10 minutes to 3, our computer decided not to work anymore, so I'm just doing this over the phone.
Okay.
And no images. When I first listened to you with Drake back then, I've been well on my way to exploring things in life. Going way back to the 90s when I was, my portal to the awakening was the fact that I discovered that acrylic materials were hurting the body. I don't know how that came to be, but that's how it came to be. And I went through that portal trying to fight, for natural fabric. And then I had this accident in the early 2000s, and that kind of woke me up completely. I started to go into the Deepak Chopra and, all these guys that were writing all these incredible books at the time, just opening my eyes about other stuff going on. So I kind of went through that for about 4 or 5 years. And then I heard an interview with David Wilcock and Carrie Cassidy. I'd never heard anything like that before. It was like I sat on the couch and I started listening and these guys speak my language, It was like I had that language that I hadn't been able to speak with anybody else. So I listened to that interview, and to make my path short, it led to David Wilcock and Drake, and then, Drake and Freedom Reigns and Universal Voice, and then into Cosmic Voice, and that's where I met up with you. So a lot of the things that I had been going through seemed to start solidifying when I was starting to listen to you, and they started to become clear, like more three-dimensional, concepts, four-dimensional, I don't know. In a way that I'm starting to see things more objectively, when something comes around, I'm starting to step back and I'm looking at it from different directions. And I think that's what I've learned from listening to you all these years, mostly. I think that's about it. Are you still there?
Thank you, Hilly, and say hi to Daryl as well.
I will. Sure. Thanks, Thomas.
No, thank you. Dave, 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was 2 weeks, man. That was a long 2 weeks, brother. No, actually, that was pretty short. It just depends on how you view time. All right. Since I got a little bit of time, I'll just kind of throw it in from when I met you. So I had already started my quest of quitting drinking. I had quit taking painkillers, Xanax, and other crap that they had me on for pain management, and was in a slow process of weaning myself off of that stuff. I'm also more currently now this will be 11 years of not drinking. This is my 5th year I quit smoking, and I don't take anything pharmaceutical anymore. I started juicing. I lost 20 pounds in a month. Although I haven't lost any more, I haven't gained any either. So I'm in a lot better shape than I was physically, but the main thing that I have encountered was that I probably learned the most from this group is when I started learning that, okay, there's no right or wrong way for you to meditate. Meditation is like everything else. It's extremely personal. So it's, tailored to fit yourself. Shielding, however, there are different techniques to it. You can take the base ones that they use in the group, and then you can add upon that. As I found out in a very quick, very small space and time. As I remember, at one point, Thomas, you and I had spoke, and you had talked about, we was talking about the sky's the limit. Why just the sky? there are no limits. We are limitless. So what I started doing was I started trying some new exercises in my dreams and in my sleep. I am starting to see different gifts that I have. Some I'm not comfortable talking about yet, but I will tell you that I can manipulate the weather. I can't fully control it, but I can manipulate the weather. And I can heal, albeit small, and some things I can't heal, other things I can. I have a connection with animals that was much deeper than I thought I originally had, and primarily dogs, but it's not just dogs, it's not just cats. I have communicated with spiders and flies and all kinds of crap. I mean, it may sound crazy as hell, but crazy is as crazy does, as Forrest Gump said, you know. So, and a lot of it is belief. Once you open yourself to belief, you find out that nothing is impossible. Nothing. All you have to do is think it. So I started finding out in my dreams that instantly, when I told myself in my dreams, this is my dream, I'm in command here. If something else happens, then it's something because I'm allowing it. If I don't want to allow it, I stop it. So I started finding out in the dreams that I started discovering more abilities. I have met with future versions of myself, future versions of Thomas, and apparently him and I go back, well, if you want to measure time, because time is an illusion, just say, a few 100,000 years or so. We've already done this before, what we're doing right now. We've just done it in different ways, and there were different outcomes, and there was different people involved playing different roles, just like they are now. If people fully understood what their roles are and how unique it is that you say play a bad guy one time, you play a good guy another time. But it's not necessarily that you're a bad guy. You're playing the bad guys off at their own game as a bad guy yourself. And by the same nature, some of the good guys are not good at all. They're play acting it. And as we found out, the clowns and everything else, it can be family members. It can be anybody. So you got to be aware that your biggest strength can also be your biggest weakness. And like I have found out with family will turn on you the quickest. Now I'm talking about my original family, not my family now. When I came here, I was shoved into an existence that I said, no, I don't want that, but it's the only one available. Okay, hell, I'll take it. So the only connection that I had in my family was my mother. My mother died at 19. I'm 63 now. My father died 2 days ago. Me and my father never really had a connection, although just 2 days ago, outside, I reconnected with him on a spiritual level. And this is the thing, we're not limited. You don't have to go into a meditative state in your sleep to connect with your loved ones, to fix problems that you didn't have time here to resolve or anything. You can do it on a higher level, even when you're awake. And like I said, you believe it, it is. If it's your will, it is. God give us free will. There's a lot of power behind that, behind your own choice. You just will it, and it is. And it sounds silly, but it is that simple. And I have proven it to myself time and time again in probably the last 3 or 4 months. And I continue to clear my mind. Most people that I know my age have given up. So needless to say that if they're gone that far, that's not somebody I usually hang with, because automatically that tends to drag you down. It's a bleed on the system, so to speak. It's just like if you have an engine with a couple dead spark plugs in it. Don't keep driving it like that, because it's going to just make the whole engine worse and worse. It's the same with hanging around people. So hence, I probably only have a few, living connections. that are close proximity to me. But I keep meeting more people all the time that are waking or have woken, and now they're starting to speak up because, like many, including myself when I was younger, were afraid to speak. We're afraid to share their knowledge because, as Thomas knows, some of my knowledge is deep like his, and it sounds crazy as hell if you just have a conversation about it. So to do that in front of most normal people probably isn't widely, I wouldn't advise it, not unless you just feel like, you have to do the 50-yard sprint just to see if you can still do it or something like that. It can put you in some sticky spots. But other than that, I continue to grow and learn with this group. And for me, it's been more of a personal experience, which everybody I know during the shift will experience their own very personal perceptions about it. And it's a heightening of your own senses, and it is accepting what it is that you have become, because you've worked a long time to earn all these gifts that you have. Don't take them as something that's to drag you down, even though you may not have control of it. Time can be your friend too. And right now you got plenty of it. And in the sleep state, you can, you can slow time down, you can speed time up. You can do a lot in the sleep state or even in a meditative state that far surpasses what you could do in a normal day. I regularly lay down sometimes twice a day. I'll take 2 hours, an hour sometimes, twice a day. And I get more done then and at night than I could do during the week. So, I mean, it's just a conception of time. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Inception, but it gives you an idea of a dream within a dream within a dream. Time slows down one day, it's one way, it speeds up another way. So when you go into these higher realms, you can make a lot of stuff happen, and it may not seem like you're doing anything, but you are. And like I said, belief is everything. You got to believe you know it, and then you know it.
Yeah. Absolutely, Dave. Thanks for that. Road, I know you have to go shortly.
Yeah, I'm watching my phone slowly die. So, I've written something because I'm not very eloquent just off the cuff. So I spoke to Tommy on the weekend, and he said this show was coming up. And I said, okay, well, good. I guess I'll have to clear my throat check. So this is it. This is going to echo everything else that went before me. And I just, before my phone does cut off, I just want to say that all your words, they ring true for me, and I'm sure for most. We came from different paths, but towards the same goal, and I can see all the connections and all our different stories, and parallels to each other. So I just want to thank you for taking me along on the journey too. But this is what I prepared. I'm certain a book could be written about my personal journey in THI, laid out in a story arc of knowledge gained, programs lost, friends made, friends lost, family made, family lost. Perhaps a story will be written one day, but 500 people in line, short and sweet is all that is needed. After all, haven't we all gathered here in celebration of a certain short and sweet man and his anniversary? Just like in true Tommy fashion, it's his anniversary that rolls around, and he's asking us to celebrate us. Doesn't matter how I came across Tommy, but I did. And I know many of you personally who found him the same way. I will always be thankful to Drake, if only for bringing Tommy into my life. That being said, here's the short and sweet of it all. Shadow work. To me, all of my progress, whether slow, stagnant, or steady, is directly correlated to shadow work. It's not a new concept. but Tommy and this group brought it to the fore as compulsory curriculum to expand and grow. Objective self-reflection is not an easy task, but it's made much less difficult by being part of a group that does not adhere to easy. It's a long and difficult road to finding the self, but to be in good company and surrounded by so many on various levels of this journey, I feel it is paramount to my success at least. Yes, knowledge, intel, trinary viewpoints delivered by a calm and fearless voice is what brought me here. But camaraderie, friendships, and family uniting for our common purpose is what keeps me here. I feel blessed to wade through my shadows alongside all of you. Happy anniversary to you, Thomas. Words will always fall short to explain what you mean to me. I will sum it up into a common denominator. I love you, and I couldn't even begin to thank you enough. And that goes for all of you.
Thank you. The road
Did I
less
break the
traveled.
internet or something? It's quiet now.
No. The road less traveled. How apt. Because we all have gone on the road less traveled, and we've all made giant strides, big strides. Who do we go to next? Did I have one in particular? Someone who's actually met me, because I am real. Sue Valentine. Where is she?
There I am.
There you are.
It's good to see you. I was lucky enough to meet you, and it will be something I will always remember and treasure because you are a treasure, and I have appreciated everything I've learned from you. Like everyone, I've been through the roads of being overly medicated by the medical profession and had to overcome opiate addiction, that I was given just pain meds so that I could work. And I finally got to a point where I was taking so much medication, I was starting to take medication for the side effects of the medication. And I went to my doctor and I said, I'm feeling a dysfunction at work. I can't do my job with all this stuff in me. I'm having pain. I want less medicine. What can we do? And he was like, all I can do is give you more. And about 2 months after that, I quit my job. And I just quit because a lot of my pain was because I worked in the medical field. I worked in a hospital. I was lifting patients every 15 minutes, pulling 300-pound patients on and off my table and doing what I had to do. And I worked like that for 30 years. And I was killing myself. I was physically, killing myself by going through this, taking all that medicine, and I just stopped. That was in 2014. And that was my preparation for you, was stopping that. And at that time, I was losing my mom to Alzheimer's, which was a real struggle. She passed away in May of that year. By June, I had weaned myself down off the medications to a point where I just stopped everything. I got really, really ill. I went through a really bad time. I realized I would have a withdrawal from the opiates, but I didn't realize that so many of the other medications I was taking was even worse than the opiates. The ones for neuropathy and all these other ones. So I went through a real struggle. It took me a couple weeks of being really, really sick. And I do not take anything, nothing pharmaceutical at all anymore. Part of my weaning myself off all of that, I used oral, not smoking, but I used a tea that was made from like a marijuana tea. And I used that for about a year after that. And I started listening to your shows and hearing all about, any kind of alcohol, drugs and stuff, and how that opens you up to things. Because I was experiencing things. I weaned off of that too, and now I can say I'm completely free of all that stuff. Yes, thank you. I found you through Drake. I started listening to you. Drake irritated me, and I was really thrilled when THI came on and I could hear you without that. So I followed you all along. I've been really lucky in that I have a brother that we always kind of, as teenagers, we always knew that we were here for a reason. When there's 6 kids in our family and we were the only 2 that connected and said, yeah, we're here for something. I don't know what it is yet, but we're here for something. All of a sudden, one day he calls me up and he goes, I heard about blue chickens today. It's on. So we started our journey at that point, and we've been doing this together. And he always laughs and said he was woke up by the blue chickens and David Wilcox.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So he said, so he did that for me. That's okay. So I'm so very grateful to him because he's the one that directed me towards you as well. And it's been a journey, really wonderful journey. We've done this together for many, many years, and I was starting to experience things that he wasn't, the attacks and kind of stuff like that. I didn't understand what it was. I thought I was physically ill. There were all kinds of questions, and my inner self kept telling me I needed to connect with the people of THI. I needed to get on MeWe. I needed to get around people that could help me with that. And so here I came. And I met Michelle. And Michelle, I will ever be grateful for her insight and her help with me starting to see what was going on, and in turn allowing me to empower myself to protect myself against that. And it's been really great. I can't say how much I've learned from you. It's been so much. I will ever be grateful. I've fallen and had mistakes. I came into MeWe always feeling other people's feelings, and I got totally overpowered when I first came into MeWe, and I ended up coming in right around the time that Kim was leaving THI, or leaving you, or splitting away, let's say that. But and it really overpowered me for a while, and I'm grateful for that, because that led me to doing the inner work I needed to do to understand the feelings without absorbing the feelings. Because what I was doing was absorbing all this stuff that was coming at me, and I was taking it all in, and I was absorbing it. And I through that experience and a couple of weeks of really hard shadow work and inner work, I was able to come to the point where now I can hear things, I can see things, I can do that with an understanding and compassion, but I don't have to absorb it. I don't have to make it mine. And so I'm grateful for that. So I don't know. I don't know what else to say. All I know is
that's enough.
I'm really grateful to you guys.
Well, thank you. And I'll be next. There's someone else. Jessica.
He was there.
You're on mute, Jessica.
Hello. Sorry about that. Thank you. Tending to my little guy there. So wonderful to hear all of the personal perspective on everything. It's lovely that it matches up so much. It shows that, it's really something very needful that people are responding to, and the enthusiasm is very genuine and lovely. For me, I came from getting a little wild figuring out faction stuff. I didn't really, I hid most of my time. I spent a lot of time just trying to camouflage myself into the background for things. And so it was only this last election that I really wanted to take part, because I was gardening, and then I found out that Hillary was running for president. And it, for multiple reasons, it very much set me off, and I began the path of figuring out why that upset me so much. And that actually went pretty hardcore, where I even ended up alienating my husband and did leave my family for a minute, because I felt that I had learned so many things that I was actually a danger to them from having learned so much. So I kind of went to seek out people who knew the same stuff as me, but also kind of to throw out the gauntlet to see who would be willing to engage with me. And that was a very valuable learning experience. I do need to keep this short, but basically it went really rough, because I went and ended up exhausted and in New York at Grand Central Station, and I kind of had to just give myself over to whoever would help me authority-wise. So that led to Bellevue, and that led to definitely time, about 11 days of figuring out that I really, really wanted my family. That even though I had learned all the stuff that, was not obviously the whole depth of it, but I had learned enough of it that it really set me off. That I really wanted my family, though. That I needed my family. That was all I kept thinking. I had that moment that someone mentioned earlier, where you just are like, I just need, I need this. I need my family. And right after that, after going through a month of coming off of what had happened and coming out of Bellevue and weaning myself off of what they had recommended, I was listening. Zenja and I have this in common. I listened to Lucid Dreamer one afternoon. I needed something much more smooth and relaxed. And so this was probably, I think we're over a little bit over a year now that I've been with THI. So I haven't been, I'm not a long member yet or anything, but so the biggest impact was finding people who were similar to me and made me not want to hide as much, and showed me that people really can care and be kind to each other. And it also made me feel a bit safer, because honestly, Tommy was so targeted, so involved in the stuff, that I thought, if there's one group that's going to understand that, it's probably going to be one of the people that is the most, disliked somewhat, or targeted, I should say. And so that kind of helped smooth me toward what I had asked for. That it was finding more of my family, but more of my soul family. So, because I needed that very much at that time, and I still need you guys. That's why I'm still here and I'm learning. My interests and my strengths are in patterning, and linguistics I really enjoy. I've learned a lot of metaphysics as well, blending that with, finding the real physics, actually, which is really the metaphysics, too. So I get excited about that stuff. Yeah, so I'm really super grateful. Really,
Good.
really happy. Yeah.
Thanks, Jessica.
Absolutely.
One of our younger members, which we always like to see. It's encouraging that we've increased the age group. Traditionally, people tend to get in the later stages of their life before getting involved in this, and so it's pleasing to see the younger ones as well, yourself and Zenja and many others.
Yeah. And I love seeing that there's younger, even younger, because I'm going to be 40 in January. I'm just going through that great phase, so I'm excited when the younger.
Yes. Well, that's the encouraging thing, Mr. Observer that I am. I'm seeing these protests around the world, various protests, and a lot of them are the young people. Take a look yourself. You notice that an awful lot of young people getting involved in the protests, about the children, the CNN in California. It was largely younger people, and that gives us hope, and this is why we have to keep pushing on. And, we've developed a platform. They have a large learning curve, and we have the archives for them to learn, and of course for us all to teach them as well. So then there's a progression. And that's the good stuff. Who can we bring in next? I wanted to bring in Emma, but unfortunately it's a bit late over there. I think she's gone. Ed Martinez has had quite a steep learning curve. Perhaps Ed can briefly, because we're going to wrap up shortly. We've been going there 4 hours, I think. Yeah, nearly 4 hours. So Ed, if you're around.
Yes, I'm going downstairs. One moment. I got a bunch of company over, so I'm going to go hide. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Thomas. So, yeah, it's been about 4 years since I found this whole group. And Thomas, you're amazing. I've been looking my whole life. I knew my whole life. Why are we here? What am I supposed to be doing? And it blows my mind to think that I've found this now that I'm in my 50s, but I'm starting to recharge back up to where I was like in my 20s. The things that I've learned in the past 4 years are just astounding. I know I could always kind of see stuff or feel stuff, but I didn't know what it was. Now, as I'm going on and going on, now I'm dreaming and I can see dreams happening and actually be inside the dream and control the dream as Dave was saying. I can't with the weather now. I'm going to jump all over the place because I got so many things going on in my head. I can call on the rain to come, and it takes a little while, but it gets here. Even when it's supposed to be 100 degrees, it'll come in. I talked about camping this weekend, that I was supposed to go camping, and where I was going to go camping, there's a big forest fire now, but my sister and her husband found a different place, and we're headed up there this weekend. So I'm looking for a big unveiling this weekend of what I'm going to learn. I'm very, very excited about that, and I know I'll explain a lot later when I come back. But I went through the whole religion thing as a child. It didn't make no sense to me at all. I went from the Catholics to Lutherans to Jehovah's Witnesses for over 20 years, and it never stuck. I knew there was something wrong. I knew it wasn't right. Religion is completely a farce, and I can say that with all honesty, not to hurt anybody's feelings, but that's how it is. And, learning from all of you in THI just have opened me up to a person that I never thought I could be. I've been more boisterous now. Everybody's kind of afraid. I don't want to say afraid, but just they're kind of wondering if I'm nuts. So I go, I'm no different than I was when I was younger. But people are just kind of freaking out on who and what I am. But I just want to thank you, Thomas, for everything you've done for me. You're a godsend, and I just want to. There's no words to put into to form, but thank you so very much.
Thank you, Ed.
Yes.
Kasheva, if that's the right pronunciation.
Yeah, Thomas, you did pronounce it right.
Thank you.
I found you in a very strange way. I always had the habit of watching the YouTube. Over the YouTube, I get an ad of Gaia TV. That's where I started. I took a subscription of Gaia, then I started listening to Cosmic Disclosure. That's where I listened. I watched David Wilcock and Corey Good. And then from there, I go to Arizona. What the city is? I forgot the city. Where M and Miss M conducted session 7 Seal Summit. Then I just keep browsing. Then on a fine day, on one of the website, though it is like RV website, the Operation on Disclosure, I came across your name. Like you mentioned about something, and then I was watching, and on the way, like I was watching the Lucid Dreamer, and then that's how it started all the way. Then finally, I started listening to you. So I've been listening since 2017, I would say. Yeah, it's been 3 years. I have learned a lot. Maybe I would say it's just the alphabetics. I'm yet to learn the language, but yeah, I know a little more than what others know, I would say. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you. Ruth Ann.
Hello. Hey, I just wanted to say about 10 things that teach has changed about my life, because before my motto was I'm so bad, I'm good, and I just wanted to repeat that back. So the number 1, 45-55 emotional balance, got it. Help those in need. Number 2, done. Shielding dark force, that is a big one. Everybody knows how to do it. I'm still working through it. Knowledge of who and what I am, I'm probably going to take a while with that as well. The discernment concerns that I've felt I'm getting better as we move along. So the 6th thing would be moving forward, creating a better world for all. And all these things that I've just talked about, believe me, I've noticed everybody talked about the exact same thing. So I'm trying to keep it brief, that I've been able to have an outgoing character to enhance communication, which before was probably lacking, and then openness in receiving information, because I was pretty much set in what I had been taught. I was trying to break away from it. Many people talked about the many denominations. Me too. So I'm part of that group that I realized it was better to get away from it. Shadow work, emerging with my unique personality into my environment. This is ongoing also. Finding out my source connection without technological intervention, fear, mind games, outside influence, doubt, self-debasement, low self-esteem has been replaced by high-quality life and spirituality, soul growth, reality shift, big plans for THI Village, TPC Ventures through caring, sharing, helping others, hand up, not hand out, which will pave the path for future generations amidst their own tumultuous lives to handle what lies ahead, being taught the hardships we've endured to get this far. And then just as a tag on to that, stories speak to our heart. They tell us not how we might live, but how we should live. And I just loved everybody's stories, and it's all being brought right here, right now. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you again and again and over above. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth.
Yeah, that's it.
Stephanie.
Uh-oh, good. Hello, y'all. Can you hear me?
Yes, very loud.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll try to turn it down. I just, battery's getting low, so I'll be swift. I just cannot describe to you guys the world that I was pulled out of. Thank you. THI, Tommy, thank you. I was very devoted for 45 years, deeply devoted to what you guys would have considered the New World Order, the only faith that was permitted in the UN. I'm not going to say names, but I was hook, line, and sinker. And, wow, deprogramming is definitely a process. Definitely a process. And it was the little trickling in of little subtle messages here and there that I could hear. And it took about a year where I was listening since THI opened in YouTube. And then I entered MeWe. And then I had the courage to do the hardest thing in all my life. There was any hardships ever experienced before pale to what it went through to cut those cords of what I thought was great love. So I'm grateful to everyone for sharing that, accompanying me on that process. Free at last. Now it's free the rest of the world. So I love you guys. Take care. Bye. Any questions?
Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie also stepped away from religion and also a cult. So Stephanie's made fantastic progress, and thank you.
Yes.
Do you want to add to that, Stephanie?
No, basically that's the main hook that had me. There were other little boxes. Military family origin, and broke away from the home front at 17 after high school and walked right into an immediate trap. So, but if it hadn't been for listening to you, I wouldn't be where I am today, because I didn't need to change. I was quite content. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Stephanie. All right. Galaxy A3 was sent a message. His battery is running down, but he said, I wanted to say, I came out of a 20-year addiction to heroin, alcohol, methadone, and Valium. I love waking up clean and sober, even though my father and older brother James took their lives. You can get through it. I do have chronic pancreatitis, but life is much better. It's because I found Thomas Williams and THI I'm alive today. Thomas, I love you and thank you from the heart, which is the only way I can do it. He says, I'm the one that the show gave me the strength I didn't realise I had. And that's been the common message. You know, you all have skills that you don't realise, or many of you now have. And all of you, whilst it's a celebration of me today, all of you should celebrate and give yourself a pat on the back of how far you've come. That's what it's all about, caring and sharing, and everyone developing, not dragging each other down like we have in the past with the competitive world, you know, cooperating with each other. Like I think it was Jason and a couple of others said, we don't have to agree on everything, and many don't, and that's fine, you know, but we all go forward with a common cause. This world is, or that world is messed up, it's ruined, and we have to build a new world in our image, not theirs. And that's the important message going forward for us all, that we continue to work at it day after day, you know, and we continue progressing, continue getting members out of the astral, of which I'm seeing a large increase in our group, and that pleases me immensely. You know, that's one of the premise of the group, is once you get out of that harvesting astral, low vibration, anger, insecurity, and not little me, and all the other stuff that has affected us all, that there's far greater gifts of life awaiting you, far more than pieces of paper with numbers on, far more than titles or any other nonsense that their world puts much credence to, not in our world. And I'm pleased you all have taken on board the vision I laid out with THI and the TPC, and thanks to you all. And on that note, we're going to end just short of 4 hours, so you can all open your mics now, and thank you to everyone who's taken part, who've listened, and those who have spoken also. Thank you.
Well,
I love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
Tommy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to everybody.
Tommy. Thank you, everyone, for sharing.
Thank you, everybody.
Big family.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
See you later.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Keep going.
Thank you
all.
Thank you.
Keep going. Bye, y'all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Shadow work up. We've got shadow work, everyone.
Yes, Bob.
Love to you all.
Thanks for all the work you're doing out of support.
Nice work, guys. Love you, man.
Thank you, Rochelle. Bye.
Oh, you're welcome. Love you all. Bye. Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Dobry den. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.
What a family.
Thank you. I'm humbled.
We are too.
Love you, Tommy.
Yes, we love you, Tommy. Keep it up, dear brother.
Finally, lots of words.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary, my friend.
Happy anniversary. Great to see everyone.
Happy anniversary
To you.
Fireworks emojis all around.
Yes. And a few vomit chips. Yeah. Bye all. Bye for now.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye all.
Bye all.
Bye.